Edwards. They form 1/4 of the Chicago Bulls playoff roster and all have 2 championship rings, but none from the Chicago three-peat. They were 3 of Detroit's bad boys, the NBA champions of 1989 and 90.
Not bad, meaning bad, but meaning good. There it is.
Quiet, we're doing an interview in here.
Well, the bad boys were loved in Detroit, but they were hated just about everywhere else and nowhere more than Chicago. What's it like to wear a Bulls uniform?
Much different than wearing a Piston uniform. You put it on, we used to get this different kind of energy. Plus, I was a younger cat.
It was a different color, that's all.
It was kind of weird at first.
It's red, white, and black, and compared to red, white, and blue.
It's the same kind of feeling. It's a feeling of a team that really wants to win, guys who dedicate to win.
Playing with one of the best basketball players ever, Michael Jordan, and Scotty and Tony, and it's just an incredible team. The team gets along very well, just like the Pistons used to get along very well.
Is there a common denominator in the Bulls locker room and the Pistons locker room?
No, not at all. I think in the Bulls locker room, we're very relaxed. We're very confident that we can go out there and do a job, no matter we shoot well, play well. It doesn't matter. We're going to go out there and do the job in both areas. So in the Pistons locker room, it was more like, we go out there and kick your ass. That's it.
Guys liking that. And you remember, of course, playing against the bad boys. How bad were they?
It was terrible. It was terrible. I didn't like going to the hole, especially while the Worm and John Sally was on the court. It was tough, especially Lambeer.
Oh, man.
I didn't want to.
Hawthorne, we love you because you changed those rules, the hand checking, the throwing to the ground. Because of that, little guys like us are still in the league.
Well, it kind of leads me to the next area. Do you think we'll ever see another bad boy success story? Is it ever going to be a formula for having success in this league?
Why are you looking at me? Why are you looking at me?
Chicago bad boys and all that. You say you're from Chi-Town, so go ahead, I'll let you answer that.
Oh, being with Pat Riley, everybody think we're bad boys up there, or New York, they're bad boys. They just play hard. Nobody will never be like Detroit Pistons. I don't think so.
Thanks for saying that with a straight face. Now, look at the Detroit Pistons, the changing face, you might say, of the Detroit Pistons. They have got new jerseys, and this is the look at it. And, boy, if you could get a shot of Timmy and Kenny here, guys, what's the verdict?
Laugh. I can't laugh.
No.
Our uniforms, I can't laugh.
You really can't. But those colors are a little bit light, though.
Yeah.
Those colors are.
You liking this?
No.
It's got the teal, it's got the black, it's everything that you'd hope for.
Oh, that's a horse.
Yeah, that's a little horsepower thing.
That's what it is.
That's what you got going on there. Anyway, that's the Detroit Pistons.
That is
I had to think about that.
New looking. You like it that much?
No.
You can have it. We'll be back in just a few minutes, folks. We're about 10, 15 minutes away from the tip at Chicago's United Center. Game 2 between the Bulls and the Magic. It's the place to be. Keep it here. Guys, thanks for being here tonight. I think it's time to put the ball in the air. We're taking you to the United Center right after this.
The following is an exclusive presentation of Turner Sports.
Welcome to Chicago, Illinois, where a glorious spring afternoon has evolved into a marvelous spring evening, and we're out on Madison Street, a couple of miles from the Loop. 24,000 lucky fans with tickets to this one have gathered for Game 2 in the Eastern Conference Finals, a game that matches up the Chicago Bulls and the Orlando Magic. the 434th consecutive sellout of a Bulls game, and we're lucky enough to be here among those who will witness it. Good evening once again, everybody. I'm Vern Lundquist, and welcome to Chicago. No professional athlete wants to hear the words humiliation and embarrassment, but that's all the Orlando Magic has heard since their 38-point thumping here on Sunday. Yet, if they can win tonight, if only by 1 point, they can go back home with the series tied and find that fans do forget in a hurry. I'm joined as always by Danny Ainge. Significant injury, Danny. Horace Grant will not play. John Koncak will start for the Magic.
Well, yes, John Koncak's certainly not going to give him the offense that Horace has been giving this Magic team in the playoffs. Koncak, they might double off of on Shaq and Penny down in the low post. He's got to find a way to make himself available at the rim by diving hard to the basket, set picks for the shooters, try to get them involved in the offense. But on defense, Shaq is going to be the one defending Rodman. It's a tough assignment for Shaq, but an assignment Shaq is looking forward to.
There are any number of things we can look back in game one and say, are you kidding me? But how about Horace Grant, Nick Anderson, Dennis Scott, 0 for 11 from the field, 2 points among the three. Now, Grant's out. How do they get Scott and Anderson more involved offensively?
Well, Vern, that's a significant difference. Those two guys, Scott and Anderson, were averaging 32 points during the regular season between them. That's like holding Michael Jordan to 2 points. Scott needs to be involved in the offense. He's a standout, spot-up shooter from the perimeter. They need to get more movement. They're going to have him defending Scottie Pippen at the other end of the court to try to get him more involved in the offense. He says he's going to be, wants to be a complete player. Tonight's his chance to prove that. But we see when the ball goes into the low post, into Shaq, we see Orlando has 1, 2, 3, 4 players, and the fourth guy, Horace, on the baseline holding his knees, tired, standing around watching Shaq play one-on-one. They got to get more involved in the offense on the perimeter. And Nick Anderson, you know, he has so much of his mind and thoughts are going into stopping Michael Jordan. He's got to be more of a factor offensively. He can shoot the three, take it to the hole, post up. He needs to be more aggressive at the offensive end.
Magic coach Brian Hill will make one other significant defensive adjustment. He's going to put Penny Hardaway on Ron Harper tonight. But Brian Hill knows that above all else, it's a matter of rebounding.
It's hard work to get on the offensive boards every time the shot goes up. It's hard work to box your guy out and to rebound the ball defensively or go after a rebound aggressively. And that's an area that we just have to pick up, and we have to match Chicago's intensity level. They beat us to all the loose balls, all the long rebounds, and we have to change that part of the game.
Coming up next, our beloved Bulls take on the Orlando Magic here on TNT.
Welcome back to the not-so-windy city today, the town that Frank Sinatra named the Toddlin' Town. We're here for Game 2 of the NBA playoffs, and we are joined by Craig Sager.
When Michael Jordan retired from the Bulls, they raised his jersey to the rafters and deified his likeness in granite with the inscription, "The best there ever was, the best there ever will be." When he returned, he threatened the legend and set him up for disappointment. But Jordan was determined to be like the Mike of old. And this year, by topping the league in scoring and leading the Bulls to the best record in history, the statue has come alive. In the process, the Bulls have garnered the hardware. Yesterday, the MVP ballots were tabulated. And tonight, the trophy is presented. Bulls public address announcer, Ray Clay.
Please direct your attention to center court, where the Chicago Bulls are pleased to introduce NBA Commissioner David Stern for a special presentation.
Michael, welcome back. You still set the standard for greatness, determination, and leadership. Congratulations, 1995-96 NBA Most Valuable Player.
player of the All-Star game, the most valuable player of the season, and he's determined to be the most valuable player of the finals. Game 2 against Orlando tonight.
These days, more and more people.
The studio quartet is back. Tim Hardaway, Kenny Smith, Cheryl Miller, and me, Ernie Johnson, as we get set for the tip in Chicago. Game 2 between the Magic and the Bulls here on TNT. We just saw Michael Jordan get his MVP hardware from guys who play against him. What can you say about Michael?
He deserves it.
Yeah, that's an understatement, Timmy, I believe.
Hey, I mean, just what Craig Sager said, you know, led his team to 72 wins. What else can you say?
Now, this guy, going back to what we talked about earlier tonight, born in Brooklyn, as you
I
point
brought out the information. Born in Brooklyn, USA, home of New York City ball players. He drank the water first. That was the first water he drank, was New York.
He's something. Ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time to play ball. We're going to be back at halftime, but coming right up, the Magic and the Bulls at the United Center. Chicago, after running away with Game 1, takes aim at a 2-zip lead. We'll be back at the half.
Ready for Game 2 Eastern Conference Finals. Chicago leading it 1-0. And let's check the matchups for tonight. Koncak and Rodman, Scott and Pippen, O'Neal, Longley, Anderson and Michael Jordan, and Penny Hardaway and Ron Harper. Our officiating crew tonight, Joe Crawford, Ed Middleton, and Bill Oakes. John Koncak, who has averaged only 8 minutes in the playoffs thus far, expected to play 24 to 30 tonight. And it'll be O'Neal and Longley at center. Anderson controls for Orlando and puts it in the hands of Penny Hardaway, and he's picked up by Scottie Pippen.
You can see, Vern, they're starting off right with some pick down, some motion offense, trying to get Dennis Scott and Nick Anderson involved in the offense.
And they did immediately. Scott comes off the screen, then drives, something he doesn't do a lot of, and gets the first basket of the game. So already things are looking up for Orlando.
Right, they're already ahead of where they were in Game 1. But right there, that's a matchup we got to worry about. Dennis Scott, not a great defensive player, is matched up with Scottie Pippen at the other end.
Here's Penny Hardaway. O'Neal sets the screen. Harper guarding Hardaway. Jordan has Nick Anderson. He fights for position. Does the fadeaway. Too strong. Longley gets position and puts it in the hands of Scottie Pippen.
Well, we see two guys ready to score tonight. Very embarrassed by Game 1 performance. But there we have it again. Scottie Pippen going right by Dennis Scott. Dish on for Dennis Rodman for the easy 2. That's going to be a problem all night long. They've got to be aware of Dennis Scott and Scottie Pippen and help out.
Brian Hill told us this morning at the other end, here's O'Neal, who is fouled by Longley.
Well, right here, they're looking for Dennis Scott coming off the picks. He sees Ron Harper cheat over the pick, does the right thing going into the basket. But here at the other end, Scottie Pippen goes right around. Shaq comes over to help out Rodman for the easy lay-in.
O'Neal at the free throw line. He was 1 of 7 here on Sunday, and things have really gone sour for him at the line. He is now 15 of 53 in the last 4 games and a couple of minutes.
And it's really important for Shaq to continue trying to draw fouls. They say they have the four-headed monster at center, Eenie, Meenie, Miney, and Mo, but they have got to be aggressive. Luke Longley is the best of all those guys, and getting him in foul trouble could be big for Shaq.
Well, Eenie has drawn the first foul, and O'Neal gets the rebound. At the other end, Nick Anderson for 3. Longley with a rebound. Michael Jordan, who had only 21 and served more as an orchestrator in Game 1. Here's Longley, looks underneath, finds Pippen, who's posting up. O'Neal with a double team that leaves Rodman open.
That's terrible defense by Orlando. Rodman's the guy you want to leave open, but you can't give up the dunk. Rodman's like Shaq, not a good free throw shooter, at least fouling and making shoot free throws.
Rodman had 13 to go with his 21 rebounds on Sunday. O'Neal, Longley puts a body on him. Now Pippen comes to help. Foul on Longley, that's 2.
That's important for Shaq. Shaq has got to find a way to dominate in the low post. Right here, we got Pippen posted up. Shaq does the right thing, going in double team. Konkak has got to get over. Penny's got to get down and help. They got to rotate better on defense. Dennis is too smart of an offensive player to just leave him wide open.
Longley plays O'Neal straight up, has problems with the ball in the paint, misses the shot. Here comes Chicago. Scottie Pippen. He's had shooting problems in the last 5 games. Here's Harper, but he's helped out in so many other ways.
Oh, Scottie Pippen, such a great player, great defensive player, sets him up in an offense, and Vern, he's increased his rebounding from 6 to 9 in the playoffs.
Michael Jordan with the 3. And at the 9:15 mark, it's a 7-3 Chicago lead. And Scottie Pippen already with 3 assists. Now Harper guards Scott. Plays him way out. Rodman on O'Neal. And Shaq gets the basket and draws the foul.
And we see the switch in the matchup right away. Longley with 2 quick fouls. Rodman, who did a great job on Shaq in game 1. But Shaq not very happy with his performance in game 1. Doesn't feel like Dennis is strong enough or weighs enough to defend him in the low post. Has to continue to attack and dominate that low post position.
Shaquille is 2 of 3 from the free throw line. That augurs well for Orlando. And a 1-point game.
We'll see how much stamina Shaq has because they keep fresh bodies on him. He's got to keep going. He's got to try to force sometime in this series Chicago to start double teaming him.
Jordan cutting. O'Neal gets the rebound, gives it up to Nick Anderson. And a chance for Orlando to regain the lead now. Here's Dennis Scott for 3.
Oh, and a very important right there. That's one reason why Dennis Scott is guarding Scottie Pippen right now, because in transition, Ron Harper has been defending Dennis Scott. Because they're a cross match, it's a lot more difficult finding him in transition. That time was a perfect indication.
Scott 0 for 3, has hit 2 shots already. Here's the tip. Longley can't control. Konkak has it. Hardaway leaves it for Dennis Scott. Harper picks him up. Scott finds O'Neal. Jordan tries to take it away, and O'Neal gets the basket.
Good play by Dennis Scott right there. Didn't get the basket, but his aggressiveness at offensive end, backing Ron Harper down, made him get the open shot and the open dunk for Shaq.
Rodman misses on the jumper. Harper gets the rebound. It's short. And at the other end, contact to it right to Rodman. Scottie Pippen.
Right now, you just cannot make that kind of outlet pass. Konkak does a great job. I don't know who he was passing that long outlet pass to.
Here's Hardaway off the screen. That's for 3. Nope. Rodman with the rebound. That's his first board. Michael Jordan picked up by Nick Anderson. Pippen in the low post. Scott. Longley's open. Konkak and Pippen with the putback is up. He's fouled.
And there's Scottie Pippen again, Vern. He is averaging 4 offensive rebounds in the playoffs. Right here, John Konkak does a good job. I don't know, he can't throw a chest pass 94 feet. Comes up a lot short right in Rodman's hands. Gives the easy basket right back to Pippen.
Nick Anderson with the foul, his first. Scottie Pippen at the free throw line.
It's like that old reverse tackle pass again. You got to give the ball to the guards and let them throw the ball up the court, unless you can make that pass.
A 1-point game with 7:13 to go opening quarter. In that Sunday debacle for Orlando, of course, they fell behind 10-zip at the outset. Here's Anderson.
Beautiful execution by Orlando. They're playing very aggressive offense. Everybody's getting involved. Chicago went to the trap. Orlando did the right thing and attacked it. Took the first available shot.
Orlando 5 of 9 from the field early on. Here's Jordan. Drives the baseline and is fouled by Konkak.
Right idea by Konkak. Just didn't get over to seal that baseline off quick enough.
3-point Orlando lead.
Just take a look around. Darkness rules the earth.
In a dangerous world.
Governments crumble. Chaos reigns.
In a treacherous time.
There is opportunity in chaos.
Evil is a fact.
Drax is on a quest.
Well, Vern, Scottie Pippen is being defended by Dennis Scott, and one reason was to create mismatches at the other end, particularly in transition. We see right here, Scottie Pippen thinks he's guarding Penny Hardaway, who's all the way over here, but Ron Harper has picked up Penny right there. Nobody sees Scott over here on the weak side, wide open, except Penny Hardaway. Little bit of confusion. That's what Brian Hill was trying to get by making the cross matchup, and that time the strategy paid off.
Dennis Scott with 5 points in the early going, and another statistic that just roared at all of us was the rebounding edge on Sunday, 62-28 for Chicago. Well, it's a 6-5 edge for Chicago in the early going. Here's Jordan over Anderson.
Oh, beautiful shot. What great defense by Anderson. Right in Jordan's face. I don't know if I saw a snake bite. He was close. He had his hand up to the ball in his face. Michael just made a beautiful shot.
For those of you who have not, oh, here's Jordan with the steal. Pippen on the right side. Jordan takes it all the way and is short with the layup. Anderson tracks it down, but is on the line. For those of you who weren't with us a couple of weeks ago, we had a seminar on snake bites.
Yes. Right here, though, Penny just makes a careless pass. Doesn't see Michael going over the top on the pick. Goes to the fast break basket, but great defense coming back. Dennis Rodman, great hustle on Jordan's missed layup, keeping the ball alive for the Bulls.
In the 9 playoff games they played thus far, Chicago has forced 20 turnovers per game. Orlando with 2 tonight. O'Neal, no. Rodman was there. Just distracted him. Here's Pippen at the other end. Goes by contact. Rodman over the top. Loose ball foul. Dennis Rodman is second.
Well, Dennis just kept the ball alive the time before. Great hustle by Dennis. Unfortunately, just bumped into Koncak's back. But right here, you know, Dennis Scott does a pretty good job on Pippen. He's got a lot bigger body, can do a much better job than Penny Hardaway down in the low post on Pippen. Good defensive strip right there.
Bill Jackson's going to his bench. Tony Kukoc and Bill Wennington replace Rodman and Longley. Rodman leaves with 4 points and 1 rebound.
And Brian Hill's going to counter and get Brian Shaw in for Koncak. They don't want the Twin Towers in the game when Chicago goes with the small lineup, because then they don't have anybody to defend Kukoc.
Tony Kukoc will pick up Nick Anderson, Brian Shaw, and Hardaway in the backcourt. Entry pass to O'Neal. Wennington puts a body on him, and Shaq over the top gets the basket.
Well, Shaq might have got fouled that time by Wennington. Wennington's a lot lighter than Luke Longley is, and Shaq should have an easy time and should be able to get to the rim against Wennington.
Kukoc, he's had shooting woes in the playoffs. Missed 3 of the New York series, of course, with a bad back. Here's Hardaway at the other end. He'll penetrate. Ah, dandy.
Beautiful play by Penny Hardaway. You know, for Kukoc with a bad back, the hardest thing to do as a player with a bad black back is move your feet defensively. He's trying to defend Nick Anderson. A perfect opportunity for Anderson to take advantage of Kukoc.
Wennington with the pass goes awry underneath. It'll be Chicago's to throw in.
This is why Penny Hardaway, he's got the whole game. Right here, he just drives in over the big people. Beautiful touch off the glass. Great finish by Hardaway.
Kukoc to Pippen. Now Ron Harper gives it up. Wennington kicks it back to Michael Jordan for 3. Off the mark, way off the mark.
There's Scottie Pippen on the glass again. Almost, he's the second leading offensive rebounder on the team. Only a few behind Dennis Rodman so far in the playoffs.
Pippen will throw it in. 5-point Orlando lead. Chicago shooting only 31%. They're 5 of 16. Illegal defense called against Orlando.
And the key, Vern, so far is keeping them from getting too many offensive boards. They've got a couple so far, kept the ball alive, but not near as many as they had by dominating game 1.
Well, we keep going back to Rodman in that first game had 7 offensive boards to 6 as a team for Orlando.
Well, Orlando does a lot of standing around. They're playing a lot more Orlando Magic basketball tonight, much more active on offense.
Michael Jordan is fouled. Wants a goaltending call. Doesn't get it.
Brian Shaw on his first.
Foul on Brian Shaw.
Well, right here, Shaq comes over to block the ball, gets a good clean block, grabbed the rim after he blocked the ball inadvertently. Good no call by the officials.
Michael was talking about his role in game 1 when he misses the free throw here. Everyone expected him to try and take over the game to redeem himself for the 4 games to 2 loss last year, and he really was more of an orchestra conductor.
Well, there's been a lot written about him orchestrating the offense, but Michael's one of those guys that does it when he has to, and they were never close. The game was over early in the first half, and they won a 30-point win. Michael's smart enough to know when to turn it on.
O'Neal. Good coach has Anderson. He comes down to double on Shaquille. They battle for the loose ball. It goes to Nick Anderson. He finds Brian Shaw for 3. Air ball off of Ron Harper. It'll be Orlando's to throw in.
Well, we can see 2 quick offensive rebounds by Orlando. But right here, when they go to the bench, when they go to Shaw, here comes the double. Shaq goes right in between Winnington, rushes the shot a little bit, just gets a piece of the dunk, misses it, but they kept the ball alive. Very active on the offensive boards, Orlando.
4:27 to go, opening quarter. Scott misses the 3. Wennington with the rebound. A 4-point Orlando lead. Shaw has Harper. Kukoc. Scott knocks it away. Here's Anderson at the other end. Nick Anderson, who grew up not far from here, played collegiately at Illinois.
What another good post defensive play by Dennis Scott. Not a great defender down there, made 2 big defensive plays so far in the game, and a great finish by Nick Anderson, using his body in the rim to seal off Scottie Pippen.
Orlando by 6. Pippen for 3.
That's a big bonus for the Bulls. If Scotty or Kukoc can get hot, they haven't shot the ball well from the perimeter, but they still find ways to win. If those guys get hot from the outside, Vern, Orlando's in trouble.
Jordan fights through the screen and continues to guard Shaw. 10 on the shot clock with 3:23 to go in the opening quarter. Hardaway over Pippen. Nope. Ron Harper has it for Chicago.
What another defensive player by Dennis Scott. I'm glad I didn't pick on him in the open about being in a Scott. No D. He's made 3 big defensive plays so far. Right here, Ron Harper thinks he can go right over. Dennis sacrifices his body. And right here, the time before, good post defense. Karl Malone type, strip him down low.
You sound a little surprised.
Yeah, his name is Ennis Scott in Orlando. He just opened a restaurant called 3D, and I thought he should have called it No D.
2:48 to go, opening quarter. Hardaway, jump hook, good.
Well, Penny scored on a double team. He had Nick Anderson wide open at the 3-point line, but he also had a wide open little 4-foot jump hook.
Kukoc with the scoop shot. Here comes Brian Shaw with a rebound. Nick Anderson alters the shot. Dennis Scott gets it back to Anderson. And Jordan brings it out.
I like the way Orlando's playing aggressive offense. And, you know, maybe some shots, some people might think they're ill-advised, but it's much better taking those than being hesitant. I like Nick Anderson, even though he's not shooting the ball well right now, being aggressive at the offensive end.
Hardaway again. We're nearing the 2-minute mark of the opening quarter. Over Wennington, and O'Neal is there to grab it and put it in.
I actually think that might have been a pass by Penny. Realized he was in the air, didn't have a good look, just threw it up over the other side to Shaq.
Shaquille has 10 points. Loose ball, Hardaway, Pippen. Pippen controls. Koncak getting ready to come back on the floor. 5 on the shot clock. Pippen taken away by O'Neal. Hardaway dishes left side. Harper's there defensively. Saves it. Call timeout.
Oh, big play by Harper right there. Stopping a 3-on-2 break with Penny, Hardaway, Shaquille O'Neal.
Time is called.
We got to match their intensity and play good, solid defense. You know, they got a lot of transition baskets on us. Take care of the basketball. There's numerous things that we have to go out and do. There's no one thing that stands out more than the other. We got to come play basketball.
And right here, we see Shaq miss the dunk. This is what he's talking about in game 1. Look at, he's just walking back down the court, not getting back involved in the offense. Bill Wennington gets a dunk the other way. That is not winning basketball, Vern. They've got to do the things that Nick Anderson said. Get back on defense, miss or make.
And you've seen evidence of that tonight.
Yeah, tonight they're missing some shots, but they're getting back to playing with a lot more intensity, a lot more of an attitude.
And the rebounding battle, Danny, thus far has been even. 11 for Chicago, 10 for Orlando. Of course, Rodman is on the bench. 1 rebound, 2 fouls.
And that's a great sign, a great sign. Shaq did a good job of getting Longley and Rodman into foul trouble early.
O'Neal will get a rest with 10 points and 5 rebounds. Michael Jordan misfires on the shot. And here comes Orlando. They are up by 5 with 1:10 remaining in the opening quarter. Brian Shaw. Michael Jordan now 2 of 7 on the field. Hardaway posting up, guarded by Pippen.
Hardaway having a tough time getting the ball into the post against Pippen.
On the miss, Jordan with a rebound. Here's Ron Harper. Contact sets and denies him access. They get it into Pippen again. And it's saved by Harper. Here's Wennington with that little jumper that he's thrived on for 9 years in the NBA.
Well, that's one thing Wennington can do is shoot that 15-foot baseline jumper. Good, scrappy offense right there. Loose balls. Chicago comes up with more than their share.
Hardaway goes by right into Kukoc, and it's taken away by Ron Harper.
Another big defensive play by Harper. He makes so many of the little plays that have such an impact on the game. Great defense by Kukoc taking the charge, and Harper anticipating the cross-court pass.
Kukoc, he's 1 for 27 from three-point range in the playoffs. Here's Wennington again. In and out. Pippen. Too late. Would not have counted. We have reached the end of one. And the Orlando Magic are leading by 3, 23-20.
Budweiser.
We're jamming. I wanna jam it with you. We're jamming, and I hope you like jamming too.
Some people say I've got too much on my mind. Movies, music, toys, correction. There's only one thing in my head, the championship. The championship. Because I got 10 fingers and no rings. And I love jewelry. That's what's on my mind. This is my planet.
You got room for a brother on your planet.
Time changes. Nothing lasts forever. Either you change or you get left behind. Today's technology is amazing. But the batteries get left behind. Well, Railvac changed all of that. Renewal. They're alkaline like regular batteries, but more advanced. You can renew them, reuse them, and they come back strong. It's so easy to throw them in here. Why would I throw them out there? Play it smart. Railvac Renewal.
Welcome back to the Windy City. Game 2 Eastern Conference Finals. The Chicago Bulls against the Orlando Magic. Vern Lundquist, Danny Ainge, and Craig Sager with you tonight. And Chicago, by far, I would think, the best defensive team in the NBA this year, and they've proven that in the playoffs, Danny.
Well, here we see a great example of it. Tony Kukoc, not known for his defense, does a great job of sealing Penny off baseline, and there's Ron Harper anticipating weak side. And here they go down to one of their best plays, Penny Hardaway. There's a lot of traffic around there with Jordan, Pippen, and Harper. He can't even get the ball in the post, has to step out, settle for the long-range three-point shot.
And as we open the second quarter, a couple of lineup changes. Steve Kerr is on for Jordan, for Chicago, and Anthony Bowie has come on the floor now for the Orlando Magic. Bowie guards Kerr. Kukoc, alley-oop. Punched away, out of bounds. That'll be Orlando's ball.
Well, Tony had Pippen open on the post, waited, hesitated. By the time he threw it, it was too late.
Kukoc's shooting woes continued here Sunday afternoon, but my goodness, he was a force with his assists. He had 10 in the game. Illegal defense, that's the first called against Chicago, and let's check in with Craig Sager.
During the last time out, the training staff of the Orlando Magic stretched the legs of Penny Hardaway. He has had those sore hamstrings, and he came over to the bench and said they were bothering him. It's a precautionary thing that they've been doing throughout the series. We may want to keep an eye on it because he said it was very painful. Vern?
Okay, Craig, Hardaway gets a rest now. Here's Scott, entry pass to O'Neal. Wennington straight up. Kukoc comes to help late, but the shot is good.
And that's what Shaq has to need. He needs to be persistent. He needs to keep backing Wennington down. He can get anything he wants on Wennington down low if he's patient.
O'Neal, who had 27 in game one, has 12 now. Here's Jordan. Back to Pippen for three. Bowie comes at him. O'Neal with another rebound. He's got 6.
Right now we see Jackson, as soon as Brian Hill goes with Anthony Bowie, he's not a post-up type of player. Jackson counters and gets Steve Kerr in the lineup.
Technical foul on Tony Kukoc after the foul called by Joey Crawford.
Well, Tony's defending Scott down on the low post right here. Scott using that big body, trying to get position. Kukoc is allowed to hold his ground. Joey Crawford thought he was being a little bit too aggressive at the defensive end.
Scott shoots the technical.
Right here, Vern, Wennington just doesn't have the muscle, the weight, anything to defend Shaq. He can get whatever he wants down there. They have to continue to exploit that matchup. Right now, while Luke Long is on the bench in foul trouble.
Wennington guards Shaq. Jordan has Shaw. Here's the pick and roll. Dennis Scott, Kukoc guards him. And they'll go to O'Neal.
He can score there. I still think he needs to take 1 more or 2 more dribbles, Bernie. Settle for the fadeaway shot. I think he can get a better look than that. Bill Wennington is satisfied with that type of shot all night long.
Largest lead of the game. Here's a foul called on Brian Shaw as Jordan penetrated. That's his second. Donald Royal is going to get a chance to play. He's not played much in the playoffs thus far.
And I love Donald Royal. A very active, enthusiastic, energetic player. Comes in, rebounds the ball, plays good D, but he's not an outside shooter. He's a slasher, loves going to the free throw line. He's a guy that when they've gone to in the past, they double off of him for Shaq and Penny in the low post when he's in the game.
Rodman and Longley back on the floor now for Chicago. Here's Michael Jordan. Over Shaw, no good. Loose ball, picked up by Rodman. Kerr, quickly to Kukoc for 3. He's 1 for 28 in the playoffs from three-point range. And this is a guy who hit 40% in the regular season.
And I don't think it's a coincidence that Longley and Rodman come in off the bench and immediately you see an offensive rebound.
Rodman throws Longley down.
Orlando's getting good looks. You got no complaints when your players get good shots like that. They're just not going down for Nick Anderson right now.
Kukoc. The runner. No. Here comes Shaw. Jordan back defensively. Makes a pass at him. Brian takes it all away. And Rodman with another board. Kukoc. 1-on-2. Kerr spots up. Kukoc.
Kukoc is struggling offensively. He doesn't look like he's has the same quickness or lift, Vern, with that bad back.
0 for 5 tonight. Longley forgot O'Neal was down there.
And that's what Longley can't afford to do. They know that Shaq would love to throw those alley-oop passes, particularly Brian Shaw. When Brian Shaw's got the ball, you got to make him catch the ball in the post and make him work for his baskets.
Kukoc, Rodman. They're going to get Anthony Bowie for tangling with Dennis Rodman.
I don't think they're going to call a double foul. They're just trying to tangle up. Both of them inadvertently, well, I don't know if it was inadvertent, but they got tangled up at the other end. But Dennis Rodman is showing he's making them pay, saying, hey, you guys double team off of me, I'm going to hit that shot.
Well, the whistle was blown, and calm and peace was restored.
Yeah, not a bad play by Billy Oakes to just get things resolved. No foul needs to be called.
No basket traveling. Time has been called. The Orlando Magic playing on the road, trying to even the series, enjoy an 8-point lead. back in Chicago where Dennis Rodman was a real force in game one, Danny Ainge. 21 rebounds in that game.
And Vern, he has been a force in every game in the playoffs on the offensive glass. He's played so many of these playoff games. We see him getting the easy tip-ins, starting to score as well as hit the offensive boards, but we know what his specialty is. Finding the ball, has great instincts for the ball.
And in the last 6 games, you can see he topped it all with the 21 boards against Orlando, 7 of those on offense.
And he's doing it against pretty good players. Right here, you see him get a great rebound. Just throws Luke Longley out of the way. Says, hey, Luke, these are my boards.
Now, what does it say, though, about the potential demise of civilization as we know it, that his book is #1 on the New York Times bestseller list?
I have no comment on that, Vern.
Oh, dear. Here's Kerr. Longley. Nice cut. Good coach. Here's Rodman. I keep thinking of Chuck Daly, who's got to be watching this game and smiling. Chuck kept insisting all last year, and, of course, he coached Dennis at Detroit. He said he can play offense. He just doesn't want to.
Well, he can finish. He can't shoot the basketball, but he's a pretty good finisher and a very smart basketball player.
Foul underneath. Did they get Kukoc or Longley?
Well, Vern, we can see that when Orlando goes to their bench, immediately they come down and double on Shaq, but Shaq's still strong enough to draw the foul.
Jordan 2 for 8. Leads those who have struggled offensively. And here's O'Neal. How about Dennis Rodman, the leading Chicago scorer in the game? O'Neal 2 for 4. Penny Hardaway back on the floor. And Scottie Pippen's going to come on for Chicago now. Kukoc will rest. So O'Neal, Koncak, Royal, Bowie, and Hardaway for Orlando. Rodman, Longley, Pippen, Kerr, and Jordan for Chicago, and it's a 7-point game.
And the reason Dennis Rodman is leading the team in scoring right now, Vern, is they've got to do a better job of keeping Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen from penetrating. Shaq comes over and tries to block everything. Rodman's wide open for the easy shots.
Bowie's got Jordan. Here's Longley working hard for the shot. It's rejected by O'Neal. Hardaway has it. He's got Bowie left side. Anthony Bowie goes by Kerr. Finds O'Neal. Pippen strips it away. But then Royal gets it back for Orlando.
Time to try to draw a third foul on Luke Longley.
Pippen with a double team. Koncak. Anthony Bowie with a jumper. Got it over Steve Kerr.
Good play right there by Anthony Bowie. Steve Kerr got a piece of the ball. Bowie was still able to finish. But Vern, Koncak catches the ball at the top of the key. When his man leaves the double, he's got to get himself to the rim, get an offensive board, or get a putback.
Are you surprised at how little we've seen of Michael Jordan tonight?
Well, Michael's 2 for 8. He's had some pretty good looks. They're playing great defense on him. Those shots will start falling when they need them.
Longley. 6:50 to go in the half. Koncak, good job defensively on Longley. Rodman with the offensive board is fouled, and he'll go to the line. O'Neal picked up the foul.
Beautiful work by Dennis Rodman again on the offensive glass. Sneaking inside of Shaq. Shaq's not a great box out guy. He just relies on his size and strength to get the rebounds. Right here, Shaq doesn't pay attention. Dennis slips right in.
You gotta think that.
Well, Vern, Shaq does a great job of trying to keep Dennis Rodman off the board. It's a tough assignment. But right here, Luke Longley does a great job of getting by Koncak, and Shaq goes for the block, gets it this time. But Vern, a key is if he doesn't get that block, you see Dennis Rodman on position to get the offensive glass. So he's got to pick his spots and make sure when he goes for the blocks, he gets them.
Shaquille with only 1 foul to complement his offensive contribution tonight. And Longley's back out to guard him again. Rodman will go to the free throw line. How about this stat? In the second quarter, Dennis Rodman 2 for 2 from the field. The rest of the Bulls team 0 for 8.
That's a shocker, no question about it. Michael Jordan getting a rest right now. He'll come back here in a couple minutes and try to give them a big spurt going into halftime.
I'll give you something ugly. How about a free throw shooting contest, Rodman against O'Neal?
Well, it is ugly. Rodman seems to make him when he needs to, though. He's a better shooter than his stats indicate, in my opinion. He's got better form than Shaq as well.
Contact, a little full court pressure applied now by Chicago. Hardaway picked up by Scottie Pippen. An 8-point lead, largest lead in the game has been 10. And we've got 6.5 to play in the opening quarter. Regular season series won by Chicago. Here's Hardaway, 3-1, the first game of the season between the two. Here's Rodman. And there were some elbows flying in there.
Well, Donald Royal was very upset because Rodman again, for the third time, sprints, follows Ron Harper all the way to the basket, gets the offensive rebound. But that time, Dennis got away with a push. We'll see right here. Ron Harper goes up, misses the shot. You can't see, but you see Donald Royal flying through the air. Very upset, retaliates, and fouls Dennis, making him pay from the free throw line.
Rodman with 9 points and 6 rebounds.
Working very hard, keeping the Chicago Bull team within range with his energy and effort so far in the first half.
1 of 2. Here comes the full court pressure. Contact picked up by Rodman. Now O'Neal. Here's Anthony Bowie.
With Contact and Shaq on the court, they're very susceptible to the press.
Contact got it, and Bowie wasn't ready for it. 10 on the shot clock. Into O'Neal. Back to Hardaway. Nice penetration by Penny Hardaway for the basket.
Yes, and Scottie Pippen turned his head to give Shaq a little bit of help. Penny did the right thing, slash into the basket.
9-point Orlando lead. Scott will come back for Orlando. Here's Pippen with the soft jumper for 2.
Good execution by Chicago. Just kept moving the ball. Scottie Pippen came free off the pick. Shaq was late helping out.
Pippen has 8. The lead is 7. O'Neal. Jump hook over Longley is good.
See, that was a lot better patience by O'Neal that time. Took his time, got the ball where he wanted to, and shot the nice little 6-foot jump hook.
19 points and 8 of 12 from the field. Anderson's going to come back on the floor for the Magic as well.
They're going to O'Neal a lot in the low post guard. It's going to be interesting to see how much stamina he has to be able to carry this team offensively.
Underneath, knocked out of bounds by Shaquille O'Neal.
You see, sometimes Shaq settles for quick shots, but right here he gets where he wants to, pump fakes, realizes that Luke has 2 fouls, and gets a nice little easy jump hook in the lane. Penny makes a good feed down in the low post, does a good job of cutting as Scottie turns his head and allows Hardaway. That's what they didn't do in game 1. They settled to stand on the perimeter.
Shot clock violation for Chicago and an official change in a foul designation. The one that was given to O'Neal has been changed to Contact. So O'Neal has 0 fouls.
Now Contact must have been in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Horace Grant on the bench. Not suited up tonight. May not be available for the weekend in Orlando. Pippen comes with a double and O'Neal goes baseline. Oh boy. Technical foul. Called by Billy Oates. Who did he get?
He got Shaquille O'Neal for taunting as he scored the hoop.
That brings Brian Hill and Richie Adubato out on the court. And it puts Steve Kerr at the free throw line right now. He is 18 of 19 in the playoffs so far. My.
Well, right here, Shaq just backs him down. He's abusing Luke Longley right now. Luke's in foul trouble, can't foul Shaq. But Shaq just looks at him and runs down the other end of the court.
That's a technical?
I don't understand it. I don't understand that. Didn't even, just kind of looked at him, didn't even glare at him, didn't say anything to him.
Billy Oates has been in some sensitivity training sessions.
Yeah, I don't understand that. He read something into there that wasn't there.
Too much time in the hot tub. 39-28, 11-point lead. Kukoc. He's now 2 for 29.
Well, that wasn't a three-pointer, was it?
You're right. 2 is on the line.
Well, the other thing is Brian Hill calls a timeout fast because Kukoc is being defended by Koncak. He had a wide open look out there. He's got to get Koncak out of the game right here. But, oh, Vern, that is terrible. It's a great move. He just looks at him down the court. Doesn't say anything, doesn't glare at him, just looks at him. I don't understand that one at all.
And you played in the league for a few years.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to clean the game up. They're trying to not have any taunting. But if that is defined as taunting, you could call it technical anytime you want in this league.
Did you ever get a technical for a soft, doe-eyed look like that?
I didn't get technicals, Vern.
That and other fabrications will be followed up on in the late news. 4:02 to go in the first half of play. The 22nd timeout taken by Orlando. It'll be Nick Anderson, O'Neal, Scott. Hardaway has it now. Kukoc guards Anderson. Anderson. Orlando's done a good job of protecting the ball tonight. Here's O'Neal over Rodman. Offensive board. Rodman comes out of there, finds Pippen. He pulls up, goes to Kukoc. And a foul is called.
Good play. Right now, so far in this game, Vern, the reason that Magic have this lead right now is Shaq's has been able to dominate, like we talked about early in the game. If he can dominate, Chicago all of a sudden is coming down, double teaming, other things are opening up in the offense.
Nick Anderson gets the foul. That's his second, and Kukoc goes to the line. Well, three-point shooting this year has declined for each of them. Look at Tony Kukoc. That's coming into the game tonight.
Well, what is that percentage? 1 for 27.
4%.
4%.
Quattro. Talk about having to shoot out of the slump.
Yeah, he'll make a couple. Tony's a good outside shooter, but again, you know that back has been bothering him. You can tell by his mannerisms, by the way he's out on the court. I think they should still be able to exploit Tony out on the perimeter.
I'll give you a comparison. Rodman for the season was 3 of 27 from three-point range. There's Rodman. Phil Jackson trying to understand.
Well, Phil Jackson's saying there was a ball fake. They cheated on the weak side, went for the ball to go down into Shaq. But when you ball fake, you're allowed to take a step toward the ball. And that's what Phil Jackson's complaining about.
And the second illegal defensive violation leads to the technical. And it's an 8-point game. O'Neal. There's Hardaway guarded by Pippen. 3:12 to go first half. Boy, what a matchup that is, huh? Offensive board.
There's Shaq giving Dennis some of his own medicine, just using that big body to create the offense. We see again Scottie Pippen making Penny Hardaway work awful hard for that shot, making him catch the ball way outside of the post to get the shots.
Rodman gets it back into the hands of Pippen. Here's Ron Harper. That's for 3. Out of bounds, Chicago ball.
Right here we see we see Anthony Hardaway back him down, gets a good look, but had to work awful hard for that shot.
The NBA playoffs on TNT are brought to you by Beechwood Aged Budweiser, official sponsor of the 1996 U.S. Olympic team. This Bud's for you. And by Jeep, makers of the new award-winning Jeep.
Orlando leads Chicago by 10 with 2:45 to play in the second quarter. The duties of the commissioner vary. Some are more pleasant than others. Tonight, David Stern presented the MVP trophy to Michael Jordan. How much easier is it to instill the proper attitude throughout the league when your star player embodies it?
He's not only great, but when it comes to leadership and determination and teamwork, he's the best. So he is a great role model for us.
How many playoff games have you seen?
You know, here tonight I'm going to Utah Friday, Orlando Saturday, but because of Turner Sports, I can watch a lot on TV also.
Well, Michael's been very good for our ratings. How about a contract extension as long as we're here?
Michael's been good for your ratings, and Turner's been great for the NBA. Thanks to everybody, Vern and Everybody except Danny.
All right, you're still mad at Danny Ainge. That's right, everybody is, Vern.
Thank you, Danny.
Hey, Craig, ask him how many tickets he's paid for.
Back to play. 2:40 to go in the first half. Here's Jordan. He's 2 for 9, 6 points in 19 minutes tonight.
O'Neal did a good job that time of sealing Rodman off the boards.
Hardaway picked up by Pippen. We've got 2:23 to go in the first half. A 10-point Orlando lead. Hardaway left open. Hands a three.
Good execution. Scottie Pippen took the shortcut on the pick. Penny popped out to the three-point line, got the wide open three.
Largest lead of the game now, 13 points. Jordan.
You didn't think Michael was going to quit shooting just because he was 2 for 9.
There was no question.
He's capable of hitting 9 in a row anytime.
Bushler and Kerr get ready to come back on the floor for Chicago. Kukoc with the double team, and he picks up a cheap foul. The basket will count. Nick Anderson, Koncak, and Scott tonight. Game 1, 2 points between them. Tonight they've got 11.
Yeah, that makes them feel a little bit better there, Vern. They're feeling a little bit better about themselves. They haven't shot the ball great, but they're finding ways to contribute. Everybody is paying their price. Everybody's moving, becoming a lot more active on the offensive at the offensive end.
O'Neal 3 of 5 from the free throw line tonight. Make it 4 of 6, and he's got 26 points, 16 in this quarter.
And he's dominating. You know, we'll see if Chicago, if Orlando can keep the lead, Chicago will definitely have to make an adjustment and come down on him a lot sooner.
Good defense on Jordan. Jordan Bushler, that's for 2.
Well, good defense on Jordan because it took 3 guys to stop him. He still was able to dish the ball to Bushler for the wide open shot. That's why he's MVP.
1:15 to go in the half. Brian Shaw guarded by Kerr. Scott guarded by Bushler. Dennis Scott gets 2 more.
Well, Dennis took advantage of Bushler. Felt like he could get his shot off anytime he wanted. Dennis Scott, he was averaging 20 points when Shaq was out earlier in the year. Did a lot of posting up on his own. Very capable of scoring down there on the post in certain matchups.
Brian Shaw fouls Michael Jordan. 3 fouls on Shaw.
Well, Dennis Scott uses all that 240 pounds backing Judd Bushler down. Great shooter, as we know, fades away. Very capable low post player.
240?
Well, 244.
244? You sure about your numbers?
I'm sure. I saw Dennis riding a stationary bike. I was kidding him before the game. I said, hey, Dennis, it's too late to get in shape now.
Kenny Smith will join Tim Hardaway and Ernie and Cheryl in the studio of the Reebok Halftime Report. They'll have a preview of the Sonics Jazz Game 3.
You see Dennis Rodman right there, 10 points, 7 boards. He has kept Chicago in this game the entire first half with his energy, offensive boards, and points.
A 12-point Orlando lead, 45 seconds to go before the break. Chicago lost only twice here in the regular season. Only one team has scored more than 100 points on them thus far in the playoffs. And the Magic at 52 as we get to halftime.
Oh, beautiful play by Penny Hardaway. Went right through the Chicago interior defense. Laid it up for the easy 2. Great pick by Shaq.
Hardaway guards Jordan. Anderson comes and gets the steal. Hardaway protects the ball, and we have 17 seconds to go before halftime. And Orlando drubbed here by 38. 38 on Sunday, up by 14 as we get to the break right now. I remember last year when Orlando beat Boston, that one, a foul is called with 0.8 of a second.
Well, not a well-advised foul by Michael right here, but we see again, look at Nick Anderson, Shaq right there, 3 guys ready to pick up Michael. They've really done a good job team defense against Michael in this first half.
And because of the foul, Hardaway is going to go with a free throw opportunity here. Fouled while attempting a 3.
Michael just got a little bit over aggressive, was doing a great job making Penny work really hard to get something. just incidentally hit Penny on the three-point attempt.
We got 2 shots, guys.
2 more.
Penny Hardaway got a couple votes. Had the second most first place votes for that MVP.
Michael Jordan got 1 fourth place vote.
Yeah, that guy should be, his vote should be taken away.
How about Hardaway hitting 1 of 3? We have reached the end of the first half. A big turnaround for the Orlando Magic. Shaquille O'Neal, 26 first half points. The lead is 15 for the Magic.
To you by Reebok. Are you prepared to say, this is my planet?
Chicago won game 1 by 38. That's what they've got in the first half. And do not adjust your sets. Orlando up by 15. Ernie Johnson and Cheryl Miller and Kenny Smith and Tim Hardaway. We're all in Atlanta. And we got your Reebok halftime report. Welcome, folks. So what a surprise from game 1 to game 2. Horace Grant not available for Orlando, and still they're up by 15. Give me an explanation, Cheryl.
Shaq. Period. I mean, he's playing outstanding. I mean, the big difference from game 1 to game 2 is he's asserted himself much more offensively. He's forcing Chicago to double down, which is definitely opening up the perimeter game. But in game 1, Luke Longley scores the first 6 points. He's zipped right now.
And Shaquille O'Neal with 26 points in the first half at 27 in game 1. Also on the Orlando side, there was concern because the three-point shooters were not getting it done in game 1. A different story tonight.
Exactly. The biggest thing you have Nick Anderson and Dennis Scott coming out aggressive. They might not be hitting all the shots they want, but they're coming out aggressive, and that's opening things up for Shaq. We got video. Go to the video tape. And here, first play of the game, here's a guy who didn't score last game. The first play, he said 3 guys are on him. He's still going to the basket. He scores. And then the second time, they lose him in transition, and this is what he wants. This is the three-point shot. He's the best in the business at it. So, I mean, this is what he wanted, you know, to come out aggressive. Now the defense spreads out, and then you get the opening for Shaq to get 26 in the first half.
Yeah, Dennis Scott has worn out some teams from three-point range. He only had 7 of those in 4 games against the Bulls in the regular season. Didn't have any in game 1, getting on the mark tonight. Now, if on the Chicago end, Timmy, what are you thinking in the locker room right now, and are you concerned down by 15 on your floor?
Yes, I think they are concerned right now, especially without Horace Grant playing right now. Their offense is not running like they want it to be ran. Orlando is playing real good defense, especially in the middle, no layups. Shaq is trying to block everything, and he's rebounding on the defensive end. And they limited Dennis Rodman's offensive rebounds, even though he got a couple here and there, but he's in foul trouble too.
Yeah, he's leading him in scoring, and if that keeps up, then this thing's going to be tied 1 apiece. How about Michael Jordan? Pretty quiet first half, or is he ready to take this game over? I mean, if you're playing on the other side, are you saying, I think it's time for Michael?
He's going to step up. He's definitely going to step up in the third quarter. So they know their work is cut out. Orlando Magic's work is cut out in the third quarter.
It is a 15-point game in favor of the Magic after 24 minutes. When we come back, we'll assess the West, a 2-0 Seattle lead. Sean Kemp and the Sonics have won 9 out of 10 in the postseason. Can Utah turn things around at the Delta Center?
Special financing now available.
The Reebok halftime report continues. It's one of the dream matchups of all time. Kenny Smith against Tim Hardaway. People pay good money to see these two duel on the hardwood. Oh, this is, man, dust this stuff off the archives, will you?
Right past.
Look at the old uniform.
Chicago versus New York.
The crossover, the crossover.
Now tell me something. What's the book on Tim Hardaway when you got to play him? If I got to play him, what are you telling me? What's he doing?
Well, first of all, the knock used to be to give him the outside shot. He hits threes. Now he's 5'11", and we're stretching it. And he still will post you up. So here's a guy 5'11", posts you up, and then he knocks down the outside shot. You just get on the court and be like, help, help.
How about it, Timmy? This guy.
He's right. No. You know, you can't let him have the outside shot. When we play him against, I try not to double down on Hakeem or whoever's down low hot. I try to stay up on him, and then when he does make the outside shot, then he can blow past you and make a layup. So I try not to give him outside shot because he's going to talk a little stuff. He's going to say, you bet not double no more.
You know,
he's right now.
Yeah. You know what? You couldn't talk any stuff after they went to Houston and beat you by 24 this year.
Hey.
Well, I wasn't going to bring that up.
Okay.
The Seattle-Utah series resumes Friday night at the Delta Center in Salt Lake City. You'll see it right here on TNT. We hit the air at 8 with a half-hour pregame. They'll tip around 8:40. The Sonics lead the series 2-0, and you can trace it to their trademark trapping defense, something that has given Utah fits.
We have a few days to regroup now, and maybe we can get a couple practices in of our other team, maybe trapping us a little bit more and figuring out how to get a lot more easy shots, and hopefully we'll come out and respond the next game.
Game 3 in Utah, it's going to be a tough one.
That's why you play basketball. You know that the energy is going to be unbelievable, the intensity is going to be unbelievable. They're going to take some big shots at you. They're a proud team. They're a very smart team, but they fight. They're fighters. They're going to fight all the way.
This is a time right now that you say to yourself, do you want to go home for the summer or do you want to suck it up? We're at our place, and there's no reason why we shouldn't be ready to play, because we're at our place. You go home and take care of business there, and you're up 2-2, and anything can happen.
Hey, Karl Malone sounds determined, but George Karl is smiling like he knows he's onto something good here. What do we see in the rest of this series? Can Utah come back and win this thing?
I think Utah has a great chance. They play so well at the Delta Center, but I think what's hurt them against the San Antonio series, their bench was huge for them. They haven't got that output, but I think the other area, I think you guys will co-sign to this, when you play against Seattle's defense, you have to have a point guard that's able to penetrate, get to the basket on a consistent basis. John Stockton been dinged up, hasn't been able to do that.
Well, I think also one of the keys is not only the point guard, but once you throw the ball out of the trap, the wingman on the other opposite end of the court has to take that shot and has to knock it down consistently. And over the course of the whole playoffs, there's no one really has been able to step up and knock down that shot. Byron Russell and Chris Morris have to knock down those shots.
You can't turn the ball over against Seattle. Yeah. You can't do it. Whoever has the ball has to be strong with it, has to split the double team, pass it out, make a good crisp pass, and no lobs and no floaters.
You talk about a rarity in the turnover department. John Stockton with 7 turnovers in Game 2 to go with 7 assists. It's only the second time all year that he has matched turnovers and assists in that with that number. Back to wrap things up here in just a second. What's going on at the United Center, you ask? How about this, 53-38, and the big fella's got 26.
Grill Master, the one that's built to last.
For only the second time in the playoffs, the Chicago Bulls trail at the half. The only other time was Game 3 against the Knicks, and they lost that one. They are down by 15 at the break. Our thanks to Tim Hardaway and Kenny Smith for being here, guys. It was great having you.
Thanks
Third quarter coming right up from the United Center in Chicago. We'll see you.
The Reebok Halftime Report has been brought to you by Reebok. Are you prepared to say, this is my planet?
To demonstrate the unique construction
Beautiful Grant Park, the Buckingham Fountain in downtown Chicago, and about 2 miles away, the United Center, where we are at halftime. And the Chicago Bulls in an unaccustomed position. They trail by 15. Greg Zager is with Brian Hill.
Orlando was embarrassed on the court Sunday, disappointed at practice on Monday, but a new attitude on Tuesday. And, Coach, you got a 15-point lead. What pleased you most in that first half?
Well, just our attitude coming out. I think that's what it's all about. You know, we were embarrassed, we were challenged, and the big question today was going to be how we were going to respond to it. And I liked our intensity coming out. I like our effort on the boards, and that's where it all starts. Everything happens off of that.
What was your message at halftime?
Let's just stay with what we're doing. It's a simple game. Let's keep it simple, play hard, win the battle of the boards, take care of the basketball, good shot selection, and we can get out of here with a win.
Shaq owns the paint.
He's going to keep going.
Okay, thanks a lot. Let's go back to Vern.
All right, Craig, and a pretty impressive first half for Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh, Shaquille O'Neal, he's out to prove that they cannot defend him man for man in the low post. That's why he gave that little look to Luke Longley, Bill Winnington. He is dominating the game so far. But you know what? The great thing about Orlando right now is they have one more field goal attempt than Chicago. I like their aggressiveness. They're taking the shots when they're there. Chicago's a team that's outshot out field goal attempted their opponents 105 so far in the playoffs. And we're seeing play after play where Shaq is patient down in the low post, getting the position that he wants before he settles for the shot.
Might we expect some tactical changes in how they are defending Shaquille?
Yeah, I got a feeling that depending on how the lead goes, that they are going to come down and get the ball out of Shaq's hands much quicker. Either that or see how much stamina Shaq has and how long he can maintain this dominating performance.
Pippen and Harper join Jordan, Longley, and Rodman. Here's Rodman. Longley. It won't go, but the offensive board is up, and Jordan misses.
Oh, and you can see Dennis Rodman had to expend so much energy to keep that ball alive. He's the one who was responsible for Michael getting that offensive board by his energy and effort on the glass.
Hardaway picked up by Pippen. And Nick Anderson, foul called on Ron Harper.
We saw this in game one where Chicago came out with a great deal of defensive pressure and intensity in the third quarter, took Orlando out of their offense. That time Ron Harper called for being just a little bit too aggressive.
Concact, Scott, Anderson, O'Neal. Longley picks up. O'Neal tries to front him and knocks it out of bounds. Michael Jordan with 3 of 10 in the first half. Very quiet.
Very quiet, and a couple of those shots were pretty spectacular fadeaway jumpers with a hand right in his face. He needs to be a little bit more aggressive. They need to be more conscious of where he's at on offense and try to get him some more looks.
Rodman double teams, now backs away. And illegal defense called against Chicago. That's the second. They'll shoot the technical.
Well, Orlando's fallen into a little bit of a trap right now. Shaq has dominated the game so far down in the low post, but right now they're getting back to the habit so far in those first 2 possessions of standing around on the perimeter watching Shaq do it. That's the danger they have.
Scott makes the technical. Jordan guarded by Anderson. He was 2 of 6, while Shaw was on him 1 of 5. 2 of 8 from the perimeter. And only 1 post-up when he took the shot.
Well, that's because they're having 3 guys run at him when he's putting the ball on the floor. Those guys, Anderson and Brian Shaw, are getting a lot of credit right now on our statistics sheet of shutting him down. But we've seen Michael put the ball on the floor, and the entire Orlando defense is defending him.
Now, Penny Hardaway will shoot 2. He missed 2 of 3 just before the halftime buzzer. And that one rattled around a few times before falling through. Hardaway gets them both. The crowd very quiet right now.
And Orlando's got to love that. You want to keep the crowd out of the game as much as they can.
Largest lead of the ball game, 18 points. Concact fouls Jordan. That's 3 fouls on Concact, who's playing in place of Horace Grant tonight.
Well, right here we can see Chicago looking for Michael down in the low post. Concact guarding Longley at the 3-point line. Longley does the right thing going to the rim. Concact did the right thing by trapping Jordan.
Ron Harper. Jordan finds Longley, or tries to, and it goes out of bounds. It'll be Orlando, but Chicago ball.
Well, we could see Orlando. That time they sent 3 guys at Michael Jordan. They know Michael wants to take this game over because his team has struggled offensively with only 38 points. They're very aware of Michael Jordan. Don't want to let him get off.
There's Jordan off the glass and in.
Well, we see what happens when they don't double team Michael.
Jordan now 4 of 11. He's got 12 points. Jordan guards Anderson. O'Neal calls for it. Jump hook over Longley is good. He's got 28.
And I like Shaq's patience. Again, he got good position, taking 1 extra dribble. He gets in trouble when he tries to shoot the ball after 1 dribble.
Harper, Rodman. Shaquille O'Neal continues to guard Dennis Rodman. Here's Pippen, picked up by Dennis Scott. Longley into the hands of Harper. 5 on the shot clock. Ron Harper takes the shot, doesn't get it. Longley with an offensive board. Pippen for 3, short. Rebound Hardaway.
A little bit, you got to give Dennis Scott credit right now. Scottie Pippen's been pretty quiet at the offensive end. Done a good job of keeping Scottie out on the perimeter.
Anderson for three. Pippen takes it away from Rodman.
Well, Anderson's struggling a little bit from the three-point line. He's 0 for 4 in the game, but he's got to continue to take that shot when he's open.
Lead is 18, 9-12 to go, third quarter. Orlando. And Michael Jordan will go to the free throw line as Nick Anderson gets his third foul.
Nick Anderson is third. The team's second.
Right here, we see Shaq being very patient at the offensive end. Longley can't be too aggressive with him. He picked up 2 quick fouls early in the game. Shaq's intensity and aggressive offensive attitude took a little bit of aggressiveness away from Longley right from the get-go. Longley's got to forget about all that and just play. He can't worry about fouling out. He needs to play with the same aggressiveness that he started the game with.
Longley scoreless tonight. Remember how Sunday he hit the first 4. Here's Anderson saving it for Orlando. Jordan picks him up in the backcourt. Pippen comes to the trap. Scottie Pippen back to Michael Jordan. Beautiful.
You got to delay a game warning is all. Nothing to get too excited about. Right there, Michael Jordan trying to get this crowd in the game. Right here just turns Nick Anderson. Nick shouldn't be handling the ball full court against Michael anyway. Great play by Scottie getting the ball back to Michael for the dunk. Michael single-handedly has got this crowd in the game.
Now Hardaway brings it across the midcourt line. Contact guarded by Rodman. Jordan on Anderson. 8:39 to go, third quarter, and a 14-point lead. Jordan doubling down on O'Neal. O'Neal saves it. But they're going to have a shot clock violation.
Beautiful defense by Michael. Michael made it very difficult for them to get the ball into Shaq on the low post. Brian Hill needs to make some adjustments.
Brian Hill has called an Orlando timeout. Welcome back to Chicago, where the Bulls have enjoyed a decided offensive rebounding edge through the playoffs thus far. You see how it has increased in each of the games they have played. And tonight they do have an offensive rebounding edge, Danny, of 11-6, but they haven't converted their second chance points.
No, Orlando leads them 4-0. And in game 1, Chicago converted 27 points off the offensive glass. So even though they have 11, but they're not getting that many shots after the offensive boards.
Harper, Pippen, Jordan, Longley, and Rodman for Chicago. No changes for Orlando. Here's Michael Jordan, fouled by Shaquille O'Neal.
Good penetration. We can see Michael recognizing his team needs some offense, takes the ball aggressively to the basket.
First foul for Shaquille O'Neal. Well, again, Michael talking after game 1, that 38-point thumping, how people thought it was a matter of him seeking personal redemption in that game. He had a couple of turnovers that were costly in game 2 last year against Orlando, and he said, really, it was a team thing. Thus, he decided to play conductor instead of soloist.
Well, he played conductor early in this game too, Vern, but it won't last. With his team behind, he won't play conductor much longer.
Yeah, I got a feeling he's taking on the Itzhak Perlman role here any moment.
Yeah, he scored all the points so far for Chicago here in this third quarter. We can see his defensive presence.
Contact chases it down and calls time right before he tumbles out of bounds. 22nd timeout.
We can see Chicago, their defensive pressure picking up, denying the ball out on the wings, making it very difficult for Orlando to even get the ball into their offensive sets.
Of course, game 2 tonight, and then they'll go down to Orlando for games 3 and 4. Saturday at Orlando at 3:30 on NBC, and Monday at Orlando at 3:30 on NBC. By the way, Ahmad Rashad is here tonight, feeling better, and he reminded me at halftime that when you were a tyke, my word, not his, that he and Dan Fouts were your camp counselors. Is that right?
Yeah, those guys were my football heroes. Bobby Moore, before it was Ahmad Rashad, one of the great college football players of all time.
Well, confirm for me that Dan Fouts and Ahmad Rashad or Bobby Moore had to force you to have lunch with them because you were too mean to have lunch with the other guys?
Oh, man, he's starting bad stuff on me already.
58-46, 7:57. To be continued. A 12-point game. It was 18. Entry pass to Pippen. Turnaround. Doesn't get the roll. O'Neal gets the rebound.
Well, Scottie Pippen hasn't made Dennis Scott pay for an adjustment. We thought that might have been a mismatch as the game's going on, but Dennis Scott has done an excellent job of defending Pippen, who is only 3 for 9 so far in the game.
Scott posting up. Ron Harper guards him. Turnaround, too strong. But the putback from John Koncak.
Well, it took 2 guys to seal Shaquille O'Neal off. Koncak was left wide open under the basket.
4-3, in and out.
And we see Koncak going the other way. Good box out, drawing the foul on Luke Longley at the other end. Right here, Dennis Scott kind of forces a shot. Good defense by Ron Harper. We see Longley and Rodman on the same side as Shaq. Koncak's left wide open for the tap.
And Longley just picked up his 3rd foul that does not yet dictate a move from Phil Jackson on the bench. O'Neal leaves it for Anderson. Jordan knocks it loose for the moment. But here comes Orlando. Dennis Scott gets it and will go to the free throw line.
And a cheap 4th foul on Luke Longley. Not an advised foul right there. But I like the pass. Nick Anderson didn't stand on the perimeter. He cut to the ball. Shaq found him. The ball movement, people movement, a lot more difficult to defend when Orlando moves bodies and the ball.
Scott in and out. But my, the quality of his game has improved from game 1.
I think this Scottie Pippen matchup has got him a little bit more motivated, recognizing he's got to play every aspect of the game. Can't just stand out and watch. Be a participator, not a spectator.
Longley plays with 4. Hardaway, the switch on Pippen. Entry pass taken away by Scottie. He gets it back, but at the shot clock, nope. Shot clock violation.
Great defense again by Orlando. The penetration by Scottie Pippen was met by 3 Magic players, forcing him to lose the ball and the shot clock violation.
Scott, Hardaway, joined by Anderson, Koncak, and O'Neal. Jordan guarding Dennis Scott. O'Neal.
Shaq smiling on his way down the court saying, I'm having a good time. This is a lot of fun. Longley in foul trouble is going to give up whatever he wants to Shaq right now. Longley's got to forget about foul trouble. They got a bunch of other guys to play Shaq.
See how the presence of O'Neal forced Michael to dish it out to the right side. They get the basket.
Scottie Pippen needs to get hot from the perimeter. See Chicago's defense extended again, trying to get this crowd in the game, trying to cross some turnovers, making them use some clock before Shaq catches the ball down low.
He has it again. 8 on the shot clock. Anderson calls for it. They get it to Koncak. 3 on the shot clock. Ron Harper, foul.
Well, Ron Harper just bailed him out. I thought he had his hand all on the ball right there, but Shaq picked up his dribble too quick. Scottie just faked at him. Looks like Harper's got his hand all on the ball. Koncak loses control of it. With no time left on the shot clock, bails him out.
And the 15th foul of the 3rd quarter. Koncak gets the 1st.
Chicago's doing a very good job of getting the ball down to Shaq with very few seconds on the shot clock, forcing Shaq to make some quicker decisions.
Harper flies in for the rebound. It goes to Longley, and here comes Scottie Pippen. The lead is 17. And the foul is called.
Orlando personal foul, John Koncak is scored.
Koncak doesn't look like he's healthy, Vern. He's walking around on the court with a limp. He's hanging in there and playing very aggressive basketball, but looks like he's got a little bit of a limp to his game.
And he just picked up his 4th foul. Harper guarded by Hardaway. Koncak puts it back in Longley's hands. Pippen. Harper for three.
Oh, big shot by Ron Harper. Great defensive stand by Orlando. Ball just bounced back to Chicago. Good penetration. Harper nails the three right when they needed it.
Under 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Scott to Koncak. Quickly over to Anderson. He's now guarded by Ron Harper. O'Neal out of the double team finds Hardaway for three. In and out. Harper has it. Chicago with a 3-on-3. They'll settle it down. Here comes Michael Jordan. Pippen. And Jordan gets it. Two on the shot clock. The runner is short. Here comes Anderson from Hardaway. Boy, that was a tough offensive set for Chicago.
Yeah, very tough offensive set. Looked like Michael stepped on a foot or something, rolled his ankle on his way to the basket that time, lost his balance.
They dive for the loose ball, but it's touched last by Harper and goes out of bounds. Now let's watch Michael Jordan on that last penetration.
Well, right here, he knows he's got Penny. He tries to take the ball to the hole, but just loses his balance. Right there, stepped right on Dennis Scott's foot. Fortunately, no injury, no sprained ankle happened for Michael on that play.
Judd Bushler's going to come on for the Bulls, and he'll give Ron Harper a rest. Tony Kukoc also getting ready to enter the game.
Well, the Bulls have expended a lot of defense here in this third quarter, Vern, trying to get back in the game. They haven't been able to crack. They've only got 1 point advantage so far in the third quarter.
Kukoc for Longley. O'Neal gets it. 5 on the shot clock. Rodman. And the rebound to Jordan. Here comes Scottie Pippen. Kicks it out to Bushler. Shaw's there.
Again, good defense by Orlando. Orlando sealing the play.
Are you kidding me?
Well, we see Shaq, who has absolutely no respect for Dennis's offensive game, is playing Dennis 2 feet from the basket when Dennis has the ball 8 feet away. Dennis making him pay all night.
With a jump shot. Rodman is now 5 of 7 from the field. He's got 12 points. Double comes from Pippen. That leaves Hardaway open. No. Jordan with another rebound.
Well, we see they're coming down on Shaq right away. Orlando's perimeter game is going to have to start picking it up.
Back to Jordan for three. Pippen calls time after the steal. And the crowd will accompany him to the bench with thunderous applause.
David Letterman.
Let's go back and take a look, Danny, at that last play, the penetration setting up the three-point shot by Michael Jordan.
Well, right here, Scotty kicks the ball. Look at Brian Shaw right here. Dennis Scott right there. Look at their facial expressions as they know, oh no, who's got him? We can't leave Michael open for a wide open three. Right here, Dennis Rodman showing his great acting talents. Gets hit in the face, but then watch the double pump, flop, going back. Good defense, though, by Dennis, causing Shaq to catch the ball way outside of the paint.
Rodman with the Luganis. And Pippen with that last steal. That was the 10th Orlando turnover. An 8-0 run. The lead is 9. This is the closest Chicago has been since they trailed 39-31 late second quarter. Jordan. Foul, Brian Shaw.
Well, they're in the penalty right now. It doesn't look to me like Michael Jordan is orchestrating anymore. It looks like he's playing the tuba, the violin, the drums. He's doing everything. He's the whole band so far here in the third quarter.
Well, he gave up the Perlman role, and now he's gone to Pavarotti. an 8-point game.
And he's not only done it with his offense, he's going to score his 13th point for the line right here in the third quarter, but he's done it with the defensive intensity, causing a lot of turnovers.
A 7-point game. 12 in the quarter. 13 in the quarter for Michael Jordan.
Big character test right now for Orlando. This crowd is going crazy. Michael's got the hot hand. They got to find a way to score some points. It's a big possession.
O'Neal guarded by Rodman. Pippen with the double team, and the foul is called on Bushler, I believe, who nicked Hardaway.
Well, right here, because of the overload that Orlando has trying to get the ball into Shaq, they're making it very difficult, causing a lot of traffic around Shaq. He's not allowed to be as aggressive because of all the traffic in there. That time made a great feed to Penny for the easy two.
Foul was actually on Scottie Pippen, not Bushler, and it's his second foul. Hardaway at the line.
Well, we've been to the practice the last 2 days, Vern. Brian Hill makes them shoot free throws at the end of every practice. But this is a team that's not a good free throw shooting team.
That one slides through. Nick Anderson on the bench. Anthony Bowie is taking his spot. And here comes Jordan. He's got 13 in the quarter. It's back to a 9-point game with 2:20 to go, third period. Rodman. Underneath, alley-oop. Nope. And Kukoc saves it. Here's Bushler for three. Got it.
Oh, big play by Bush. Coming in the bench. Hitting a huge three-pointer. But again, second shot opportunity for Chicago.
A 6-point game with 1:50 to go, third quarter. Bushler doubles on O'Neal. Underneath, it's Hardaway with the cut in the basket.
Well, Michael tried to get there, anticipated the pass. Penny Hardaway did a great job of sealing Michael off and making the catch.
95 seconds to go, third quarter. Jordan. Foul by Bowie.
These second shots are just killing him right here. Dennis Rodman makes a good alley-oop pass, but doesn't just become a spectator, gets back involved in the action. Right here, Tony Kukoc finds Bushler wide open for the shot.
Judd Bushler, who during the course of the regular season hit 44% from three-point range. And Jordan back at the free throw line.
Michael doing the smart thing right now, realizing his team's in the penalty, putting pressure on that extended defense Orlando's trying to supply to him right now. Apply to him.
Have a look at tonight's GMC scoreboard, which of course is last night's Seattle victory over Utah by 4. We have a 6-point game here with 90 seconds to go, third quarter. Largest lead in this quarter has been 18 for Orlando as they try to even the series and a game apiece and take the home court advantage back with them to Florida. The runner from Royal is on. It won't go. Here comes Michael Jordan. Scottie Pippen over Scott. Friday night on TNT, our final NBA telecast of the season, 8:30 Eastern Time, when the Utah Jazz play host to the Seattle Sonics. Game 3 of that series, in which Seattle has jumped out to a 2-0 lead.
Well, what a great matchup we have with two of the best power forwards in the game today. Sean Kemp won the battle in Game 1. Malone got his points in Game 2. Wasn't enough to carry Utah, but Utah's a very good home team. This series has a long way to go.
Seems like just a moment ago we were talking about the absent second chance points for Chicago, Danny.
Yeah, and they got 6 quick ones on second chance. But Orlando's offense has lost its intensity, its confidence, its attitude that has started this game with. Right now they're having trouble even getting into their offensive sets.
Jordan goes for the steal on Scott. Pippen is there with a quick hand. Bushler from behind, out of bounds. Judd Bushler and Michael Jordan combined on that steal.
Well, as Orlando keeps trying to cross, they just keep causing traps. And Dennis Scott can never bail himself out of that trap. Penny Hardaway is the point guard. He needs to take him out of it. He needs to bring the ball off the court and get him into the offense right now.
And among the other problems for Orlando, they protected the ball so well in the first half. 5 turnovers in the third quarter. Jordan. Deadly. The lead is 2. A 15-point lead at halftime is all but evaporated.
You know, Vern, everybody always talks about Chicago's great offense, and they do have a good offense, make no mistake about it, but this defense is awesome, and that's what teams need to worry more about, trying to find a way to score.
Pippen goes for the steal, gets the jump ball.
Vern, they can't even make an entry pass. Chicago's contesting every single pass on the perimeter. Guys are so active. Orlando can't even get the ball into right here. They keep crossing. Penny Hardaway brings Scottie Pippen right over in front of Dennis Scott, trying to get the ball. Scott can't get rid of it out of the trap.
Tell you, when you've got Pippen and Jordan and Rodman down there, it's like 2 condors and an albatross. And they get the jump ball, and now they have a chance to tie or take the lead. Jordan has 17 in the quarter, and it stays there, but Pippen is fouled as he gets the rebound. And that sends Brian Hill free.
Well, Jordan went up for the shot, and Scottie got fouled at the buzzer, going for the offensive rebound. I think they're just trying to decide how much time is left on the clock when the whistle blew for the foul.
4/10 of a second will be put back on the clock.
Well, watch Scottie on the weak side. He's got Donald Royal, gives Donald the first push. Royal tries to box out, going for the rebound. I guess he fouled him with his back, jumping for the rebound.
Scottie Pippen will go to the free throw line with 4/10 of a second left and a chance to tie it up.
When you start playing with this kind of intensity and with this kind of aggressiveness, the crowd gets involved in the game. It all started with Jordan and Pippen's extended defense on the perimeter. They start getting the calls as well.
Horace Grant can't do anything but encourage his teammates tonight. Brian Hill is still asking for an explanation of the foul. Missed them both. We've reached the end of 3. Michael Jordan leads the Bull comeback. 17 points in the third quarter. And we go to the fourth with the Orlando Magic up by a couple.
Is this?
Welcome back to Chicago, Illinois, site of the second game of the Eastern Conference Finals. You look at one of the most glorious skylines in North America, indeed the world, and a couple of miles away from there out on Madison Street, not Avenue, United Center, where the Chicago Bulls also have the oldest starting lineup in the NBA. 8 NBA titles between Rodman and Pippen and Michael Jordan. And experience certainly told in that third quarter when the faces of these men reflect the fact that they outscored Orlando by 13 points and they shaved a 15-point deficit down to 2.
Well, they've gone to their bench. They got Winnington coaching Kerr. Certainly not the defensive presence that Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen created in that third quarter. Michael needs a little bit of rest. He expended a lot of energy in that third quarter getting his team back in it.
Nick Anderson gets the screen from Scott into the hands of Brian Shaw. Here's Hardaway, guarded by Pippen. Anderson for 3. In and out. Rebound controlled by Shaw, and a fresh 24 for Orlando. Harper guards Hardaway. Scott off the dribble. No. Rebound Winnington. And another chance to tie. They had a chance at the end of the quarter. Harper out of bounds, touched by contact. He narrowly avoided his 5th foul.
Holy cow, he tackled him out of bounds. Contact goes out to guard Harper, knows he concedes a shot, or tries to finish, just hammers him out of bounds. Ed Middleton couldn't see it from the angle that he had, I guess.
I guess.
I think all 20,000 people in the stands had a better angle, and they could see it.
Winnington, guarded by Koncak, who is noticeably limping. Scottie Pippen gets it in the hands of Kukoc. Here's Harper for three, and the lead, no. The crowd was ready to explode.
Well, Penny tries to run, but he doesn't have any teammates running with him. 4 Chicago players back quick, stopping that transition.
Shaw, foul.
These first fouls, this first part of the fourth quarter are very important. In the third quarter, Michael Jordan was very smart by going to the free throw line. Knew they got in the penalty quick, shot 8 free throws in that third quarter. So these fouls that don't play anything right now, you just take them out of bounds. Add up here down the stretch of the game.
Back to Hardaway. Kukoc trying to guard him. Penny takes it to the hole. No. But another offensive board for Orlando. That shot from Scott out there, and Kukoc finally gets it for Chicago. And yet again, they have a chance to tie or take the lead.
Orlando's not even getting good shots. Penny made a good penetration right there, couldn't finish, but they just go out, rush the shot.
Pippen from Kukoc, and we're tied. Brian Shaw guarded by Steve Kerr. Under 10 minutes to go. First tie in the game since we were at 2-all. Anderson again in and out. And Chicago with a chance to reclaim the lead. Pippen. No basket. Hardaway called for the foul. Time has been called with 9:42 to go.
I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day.
And time now for tonight's Dutch boy in the paint. Rebounding edge has increased for Chicago since the first half. They're now up by 8. And in the center, Longley scoreless tonight after 14.
Well, Shaq had that big first half. They slowed him down in the third quarter.
Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen on the bench.
I think they're resting. You know, Michael will be back in before we know it.
That person just came from Rodman's birthday party last week. You didn't go, did you?
No, I couldn't make it.
You know, Craig Sager did go.
Yeah, I heard he was there till 4 in the morning.
That's the rumor. Jordan and Jackson.
But that's his job. You know, Craig's got to report that. Someone's got to report it.
Neither Jordan nor Jackson was there. Here's Pippen at the line and a chance for a Chicago lead.
Well, Michael didn't get much of a rest. He's back on the court already, Vern, and their defense has just been awesome. Orlando doesn't know what to do. They can't get the ball to the post. They can't hit the wings. They can't do anything to run their offense because of Chicago's intensity at the other end.
Scottie Pippen struggling at the free throw line. He gets 1 of 2, though. He's now 2 of 6 in the game, and the Bulls are on top for the first time in the first quarter. They've wiped out an 18-point third quarter deficit. Harper guards Shaw. Entry pass. Back to Anderson now. Here's Scott. O'Neal only 4 points in the corner, and Pippen with a steal. Underneath, Ron Harper. What a dandy heads-up play at both ends of the court for Scottie Pippen.
Orlando has no answers at the offensive end. They're just playing tight. They have no confidence in themselves. They can't even get the ball. It takes them to 13 seconds just to dribble it up the court and get the ball into Shaq. They force the double team again. Another turnover by Orlando.
Over and back. That's 14 turnovers in the game.
Well, beautiful anticipation by Scottie Pippen. He knows they're going into Shaq sometime. They've taken away the aggressiveness. The other players just standing around on the perimeter watching the ball go into Shaq. Beautiful execution after the turnover by Chicago.
Kukoc gets it to Pippen. Now Michael Jordan. Hardaway comes with a double. That leaves Ron Harper open. Scott with a rebound for Orlando. 8:33 to go in the game. A 3-point Chicago lead.
We can see Chicago, Vern, getting good looks. Even when they're missing, they're getting good looks at the basket.
In contrast to Orlando, right?
Orlando can't even get a shot at the basket, not even a good one.
5 fouls on Longley. Rodman comes back in. Kukoc, Rodman, Jordan, Harper, and Pippen.
This is a good lesson for teams, though. You know, there's a lot more to playing interior defense than just doubling post. This intensity on the perimeter has set the tone. They've had trouble even getting the ball down to Shaq.
Brian Shaw finally takes it strong to the basket and gets it off the glass for 2.
Beautiful move. That's only the second confident move, aggressive move on that perimeter pressure that Orlando has tried to, and made Chicago pay for extending their defense.
Jordan's 17 points in the third quarter ignited the Chicago comeback. They're up by 1. Here's Jordan over Shaw.
Good execution just to pin down out of that triangle offense. Getting the wide open shot. Brian Shaw got picked off.
In this quarter, Shaw's layup ended an 0-for-7 run. He's got the ball in his hands now over Harper. 2 more.
Brian Shaw, 2 aggressive move on Ron Harper, the defensive specialist for Chicago.
Harper underneath, kicks it back to Jordan. Shaw defends. On the line, turnover.
Some good defensive pressure for Orlando at the other end. Brian Shaw. Brian Shaw getting Orlando back in this game. You only want to play with confidence right now. They've got to get Shaq the ball down in the low post like they did in the first half. Force the double team, and Anderson, Scott, Hardaway, they got to make them pay.
Shaw. This one won't go. At the other end is Ron Harper. Saves it. It was an errant pass. Kukoc fouled by Hardaway. Before the basket. 6 minutes and 50 seconds left. It's turned into a dandy.
Right.
6:50 remaining in regulation, and the Bulls have wiped out an 18-point deficit. They are up by 1, 74-73. They try to take a 2-0 edge, and what a contrast in offensive production for the 2 superstars in halves.
You know, Shaq had such a dominating first half. Chicago, every time he touched it in the third quarter, they double-teamed him very quickly. And here in the fourth quarter, he's only had 1 touch that led to a turnover. You know, it's the perimeter defense by the Bulls. They just can't. Orlando's just playing with no confidence. They can't even get the ball into their offensive sets.
And Kukoc at the free throw line. Turnovers 8 for Orlando in this half.
And Michael at the other end, 19 second half points. I think he just made up his mind. We only had 38 points in the first half. We need to score.
Bill Jackson up, lending encouragement and talking quietly with Scottie Pippen as Kukoc hits them both, and it's a 3-point edge once again. Randy Brown has come on for defensive purposes now, and he picks up Shaw with a little full court pressure.
And Randy Brown, you know, he's a guy that comes off the bench. He may be better than all of them at the pressure defense on the perimeter.
Now Shaw had hurt them a couple of times. There's a illegal defensive call, illegal defense call.
Hey, Vern, I'm sorry. Forget about posting up Brian Shaw. Get the ball to Shaq on the block, force the double team, and they got to make him pay for the perimeter. They can't keep posting up Brian Shaw with Shaq on the court.
That's become almost as if they don't know he's there. Here's Scott with the technical. He gets it.
I mean, no offense to Brian Shaw. He's made 2 big hoops here in the quarter, but he's averaging 4 points a game in the playoffs.
Kukoc defends the inbound pass. Here's Shaw again. Randy Brown has him. O'Neal out on the perimeter. Now tries to get his position. Rodman comes in front. Makes the steal. Here's Randy Brown, who was fouled by Penny Hardaway.
And again, that was good defense by Rodman fighting over the top of Shaq, but it was the pressure defense by Randy Brown. He was all over the ball. Pippen gives him a good bump, slows him down, going down to the block, but we can't see it there on the screen. But Randy Brown was all over Brian Shaw. Couldn't see Dennis Rodman coming around the weak side.
Randy Brown will get a rest and the applause of the crowd. Young man who played 4 years in Sacramento, signed as a free agent here. He grew up in Chicago on the west side.
And you love that from your bench, Byrne. Phil Jackson's got to go. That's great. The guy comes in, plays a couple minutes, causes a couple turnovers, makes things happen.
Rodman looks for the cutter, finds Kukoc. 5 on the shot clock. Pippen from way outside. No. And Scott is there to clear it for Orlando. A 2-point game, 5:53 to go. Anderson has missed all 5 of his 3-point shots tonight, takes another. Finally ends a drought.
And that's really critical. That's what they got to do. They got to get the ball down to Shaq. Chicago knows that Orlando hasn't been shooting the ball well on the perimeter. A couple shots like that might make Shaq get to play one-on-one again.
Orlando back on top by 1. Jordan with the answer. Nope. O'Neal with a rebound. Rodman is there defensively.
Just get the ball down to Shaq. The game's not that hard.
Here's Shaquille. He and Rodman reintroduce themselves to each other. And O'Neal gets it.
Good pass into the post right there. Shaq, good patience on offense, but again, they double teamed him. Shaq actually had the shot or the pass out to the open Dennis Scott that time.
First field goal for O'Neal in the quarter. And a 3-point Orlando lead. A 6-0 run. Pippen. Rodman with the board. Illegal defense. O'Neal with 26 at the half. Hardaway had 12 and Scott 9.
And you can just, you can blame the Orlando offense some, but you got to give credit to that Chicago defense. It has been awesome.
Steve Kerr at the free throw line. Shoot the technical.
They got to be more aggressive, Vern. They're walking the ball up the court after makes because of the pressure by Chicago. They need to get the ball into Penny's hands or Brian Shaw's hands and run the ball up the court. Get the ball down to Shaq with an early clock instead of quit running all these plays for him. Get the ball to him soon.
Steve Kerr. Jordan guarded by Shaw. Oh, the dandy rebound from Dennis Rodman. Timed it perfectly.
Well, Michael drew a lot of attention again on the drive. Dennis Rodman came free right down the lane for a beautiful putback.
Rodman has a playoff high of 14 points to complement his 11 rebounds. The double comes from Kerr, and O'Neal goes over Rodman for 2.
Beautiful play by Shaq. That time, Penny's presence in the corner paid off. Pippen didn't try to play both and help out on Shaq down in the low post.
Shaw guards Jordan. 3:45 remaining in regulation. Kukoc. Nope. Out of bounds.
Scottie Pippen is so long and athletic to keep that ball alive. Nick Anderson had good position on him, just couldn't keep him off the glass. But right here, look at 3 guys. There goes Shaq for the block again. Doesn't get the block. Dennis makes him pay for the easy dunk.
Magic leads by 2. Shaw guarded by Kerr. Looks for O'Neal. Traveling. No. Offensive foul on O'Neal.
Dennis Rodman is playing very aggressive defense all over Shaq. pushing him, holding him, grabbing him, doing the deep, playing defense the way he should. Shaq just tries to get Dennis off his arm and gets called for an offensive foul. Dennis has a hold of his arm right there. Shaq's just trying to free up his arm. I don't like that call.
Back at the United Center in Chicago, Game 2 Eastern Conference Finals. Orlando trailed, or rather led, by as many as 18 in the third quarter. Jordan key to comeback. And Chicago took the lead, which they've now relinquished again. And with 3:21 in regulation, Orlando leading by 2 points. Let's check in with Craig Sager.
During the last time out, Michael Jordan complained of a cramp in his left calf. Trainer Chip Schaefer massaged the leg, also put some ice on it, and now he appears to be all right, but his left leg and calf was cramping up. Jordan?
Chip Schaefer has been MVP for that team during the playoffs, hasn't he?
Well, I tell you what, Michael Jordan has put out so much energy tonight. It's amazing that he can even walk out there and still shoot those fadeaway jumpers, battling Brian Shaw right now.
Michael Jordan has played 40 minutes tonight, guarded by Shaw in the low post. Longley sets a double screen for him. Here's Jordan. The switch with Anderson on him. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
What a beautiful shot. Great defense by Nick Anderson. There's nothing you can do about that shot.
31 points for Jordan. We're tied. Under 3 minutes to go. Pippen on Hardaway. 4-3, Scott. Kerr has it. He's got Jordan left side, pulls up, takes the jumper, and hits it.
Big shot by Kerr. Orlando couldn't come out and contest the shot because Michael would have been left for the alley-oop dunk. But what a great defensive play by Jordan, contesting Dennis Scott's open three-pointer.
Now Jordan fouls Scott.
Personal foul, Michael Jordan, his second.
Well, right here, Dennis takes the ball to the hole, picks the ball up, going to the basket. They'd say no continuation, out of bounds.
Only the third team foul. So Orlando, it's stolen. Longley got in the way. Jordan, Randy Brown.
Well, Vern, they're trying to throw the ball into Shaq from the out-of-bounds play with 3 guys around Shaq. Set your offense up. Right here, look at all the traffic in there. There's no way they can get the ball to Shaq. Jordan and Luke Longley standing right next to him.
In the playoffs, Randy Brown 5 of 6 thus far in limited action from the free throw line. Hardaway picked up his 5th foul.
That's what being a role player is all about. Come in, just do all the dirty work, play as hard as you can because you're not going to get a lot of time.
2 big free throws for Randy Brown. The lead is 4. A 6-0 Chicago run. Randy Brown guards Shaw, goes for the steal. Tried to pick him from behind and was called for the foul. Too aggressive?
No, that's good defense. Almost got away with it. If he gets away with it, he gets an easy 2 the other way. No penalty. Take the ball out of bounds.
Team 4th. Anderson will inbound.
Pretty clean pick right there.
It sure was. They have trouble getting it in. Brown on Shaw. 2:10 remaining in regulation. And Chicago up by 4. O'Neal, Longley guards him. Brown comes to the double. Here's Shaw. No. O'Neal is fouled.
That's what Orlando has to do. Unfortunately, they got to make the threes. They got 4 pretty good perimeter shooters outside. They're double teaming Shaq the second he touches the ball. They got to make him pay to have a chance to win.
Shaq has had a pretty good night. He's had a very good night by his standards at the free throw line. 4 of 6 so far. That wasn't pretty.
That ball never even got above the rim as it left his hand.
Rodman for Randy Brown. O'Neal shoots one more. 50 in regulation. Jordan gets it to Tony Kukoc.
Shaq's done his job, Vernie. Dominated the first half, caused the double teams by the Bulls defense. Orlando's perimeter players haven't made him pay.
4 on the shot clock. Jordan, no. Offensive board, Pippen, and a fresh 24 with 90 seconds to go.
Beautiful play by Scottie Pippen, huge. You know, everybody knows they're going to go to the offensive board. You still can't stop them.
Rodman, foul before the shot. Rodman will go to the free throw line and the penalty.
You know, Orlando's a very good offensive team, Vern. This defense, they got 3 first-team all-defensive players, Rodman, Pippen, and Jordan. And then you got guys that may be better than all of them. Randy Brown coming off the bench. Ron Harper's done a spectacular job all year at the defensive end for him. This is one defensive basketball team.
Rodman doing his best to emulate Shaq O'Neal at the free throw line. A clanger with his first. 82 seconds to go in regulation. Rodman shoots one more when we come back.
Is this your idea of better TV? How about this?
We come back to the United Center where the Chicago Bulls, in quest of their 4th NBA title in the 90s, lead the Orlando Magic in quest of their first NBA title ever. The lead is 4. Orlando was up by 15 at the half, by 18 early third quarter. But Michael Jordan ignited a comeback. Dennis Rodman has been a force tonight with 12 rebounds and 14 points. And now with 82 seconds to go, Jordan and the Bulls lead by 4 with Rodman at the free throw line.
And I wonder where Penny Hardaway's been in this fourth quarter. He's 0 for 1 in the fourth quarter, no assists. Brian Shaw's been handling the ball 90% of the time and having difficulty getting them into their offense.
Rodman gets 1 of 2. Full court pressure applied by the Bulls.
Scottie Pippen did a great job right there. Maybe that's the answer. Scottie Pippen won't let Penny Hardaway catch the ball. But Penny Hardaway, as great a player as he is, has to demand the ball.
Hardaway waits left side. Shaw now gets it in his hands. 10 on the shot clock, 65 to play. 65 seconds, that is. Hardaway stripped and knocked out of bounds with 4 seconds on the shot clock.
Another big defensive play by Pippen and Harper, sealing off the drive by Hardaway.
Scott, 3 on the shot clock. Oh, big block by Jordan. And a shot clock violation. Michael Jordan.
And we can see Michael, he's limping a little bit, grimacing as he's walking down. Those calves and those cramps are hurting. But hey, a minute to go in the game, you got to grind it out. Had a big advantage. Scott knew that he had to shoot it. Jordan knew Scott had to shoot it. A tough situation for Dennis Scott.
Steve Kerr comes on now for the Bulls. Pippen inbounds to Kukoc. Kerr finds Rodman.
We're 5 points down at this much time on the clock. If Rodman catches the ball, I'm sorry, I got to foul him. Scottie Pippen hasn't been very good from the line tonight either.
Kerr guarded closely by Anderson. 11-10 on the shot clock underneath. Pippen gets it to fall.
Anything but a lay-in. Anything.
A 9-0 Chicago run. The lead is 7. Foul. Kukoc or Kerr? Kukoc, his 5th.
Good play by Nick Anderson, forcing the issue, becoming aggressive, drawing the 3 free throws.
And a 3-shot foul.
Well, they're down 7. They certainly need all 3 of these free throws. And they're going 29 seconds. They're obviously going to have to foul. Chicago coming in with Luke, a much better free throw shooter than Dennis.
Longley on, Rodman sits. Rodman's arguing with Phil Jackson for taking him out of the game. And with some degree of discontent takes his place at the end of the bench.
Well, that's a smart play. They need the rebound right here, but Orlando has to foul right away. Chicago just has to inbound the ball. Longley's a much better free throw shooter on the year than is Dennis Rodman.
Rodman's not too unhappy.
Dennis says, let me get the rebound. Let me take the ball out of bounds. I can pass it.
2 of 3 for Anderson at the line. Just under 30 seconds remaining, and the lead is 5.
You need to foul Scottie Pippen right now. He struggled from the free throw line. You don't want to foul Kerr.
Hardaway guards Jordan, and he'll go to the line. Hardaway is fouled out.
Well, they let 10 seconds go off the clock there before they committed the foul. Chicago did the smart thing, got the ball into Michael's hands right away.
Hardaway limited in his effectiveness in the fourth quarter. He winds up with 18 points, 6 of 15 from the field. Anthony Bowie takes his spot.
The entire Magic team was limited in their effectiveness in the fourth quarter and the third quarter.
Jordan gets the first. Certainly a different story, Danny, from that humiliation they suffered here on Sunday. But what of an 18-point lead that you allow to get away on the road.
Yeah, that defensive pressure. You know, they worked so hard in the first 8 minutes of the third quarter. 4 points. 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. We said, hey, they've only gained 1 point. They go on a 10-0 run at that point, and it hasn't stopped since.
Get your first job.
19.4 remaining in the game and a 7-point Chicago lead. We talked about the great defensive team they have, Danny, and they've really shown their mettle here in the last 17 minutes.
Oh, there's no question, Vern. They've only scored 18 points, Orlando has, in the last 17 minutes of the game. And they've done a good job on Shaq. Shaq had some good spurts. They just doubled the heck out of him the second he touched the ball the entire second half.
Remember, we were talking about a team scoring 100 against Chicago just before the half. Well, Orlando has scored 30 in this half. Anderson, Shaw puts it up. Rebound O'Neal. Back to Shaw for 3. Got it. And a 4-point lead. Foul called on the inbound play.
Big shot by Brian Shaw, keeping him with a slim chance. Michael can make these free throws and seal the win.
The lead is 4 with 7.6 remaining.
Michael talking to Scottie Pippen and Ron Harper said, how can we give up a 3-point shot?
Jordan at the line where he's 13 of 14 tonight. Rodman back. Hardaway fouled out.
You know, Vern, Chicago has only held serve winning these first 2 games. It's important for Orlando now to go home and win these 2 games.
Then it becomes a 3-game series.
3-game series. That's going to be a lot tougher to do than it seems to just beat Chicago any place.
Time called, 7.6 to go. Coming up Friday night, we wind up our season of NBA telecasts on TNT as the Seattle Sonics go into Salt Lake City to take on the Utah Jazz. Game 3, 8:30 Friday night. That'll be preceded by a pregame show beginning at 8 o'clock. And here at the United Center, it went down to the wire as the Chicago Bulls came from 18 down in the third quarter. And they are up by 6 now with 7.6 remaining in regulation.
Vern, this Chicago team is absolutely incredible. I don't think I've ever seen half of defensive basketball like I've seen tonight. Just taking a good offensive Orlando team completely out of their game.
Scott will inbound. Shaw underneath. The dunk is good. 5.3 left in this one.
I don't understand that play. A 3-pointer is all they need. They only had 2 possessions. They have no timeouts. They need 3-pointers. Now they don't have enough time.
And the foul is called. This is our last telecast for Danny and me, our first year together, and we want to thank our producer Mike Burks for all the fine work in the truck, Lonnie Dale, our director, Our Associate Director, Joe Vincius, and our font coordinator, Ted Ballard, known affectionately as Hoiberg.
Fred Hoiberg, Jr.
And all the folks back in Atlanta for their support throughout the playoffs.
I was talking to Nancy Lieberman before the game tonight, Vern, and I think she's the best woman basketball player of all time.
Now you're stirring up a hornet's nest. You know that.
I'm just trying to ruffle Cheryl's feathers back in Atlanta.
Nancy Lieberman Klein is among those here tonight. She just was inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame.
No more Dallas stories, Vern.
Ah, come on. She's a Dallas gal. Scott, it's over. The Bulls are up 2-0. Michael Jordan with 17 in the third quarter. And let's quickly check in with Craig Sager.
Well, Michael, you guys were down 18 in the third quarter. The defensive pressure was relentless. What changed?
As you say, we went into halftime, and I think we had time enough to make adjustments to the way they made adjustments after game one. And defensively, we felt that, you know, Shaq did a lot of work in the first half, so we figured he was a little tired, but we were going to try to double team him anyway. And we were able to shut down their scores. And, you know, we moved up the pressure on the defensive end, and we created a lot of turnovers and got right back in the ballgame.
Did you feel like you had to carry the offensive burden in the third quarter?
Well, I'm a leader of this ball club, and I got to do something to try to get people involved if I feel it's stagnant. And, you know, we didn't really play particularly well today offensively. And, you know, I had a chance to open it up for the team and get everybody involved. Once I got a couple of steals, everybody started to believe, and we started working harder.
I know I'll let you go in. Your legs are cramping up, but how bad are they?
You know, I just got tired. You know, I really pushed myself, and I think everybody did, and I just started cramping up a little bit. But, you know, for a win, I take it.
It wouldn't be right for the MVP to lose on the night he gets the trophy anyway. Thanks, Michael. Let's go back to Vern.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out who the guy was in this country who voted him fourth in the MVP race. Well, we have been joined by Scottie Pippen. Danny just made the point, Scottie, that he hadn't seen a better defensive effort in years in that second half from you guys.
Well, we knew for us to win this ball game, we had to come out and play some good defense second half. This is a team that can score a lot of points, and we realized that coming into this series against them. So we let them get off to a good start in the first half due to the fact that Horst wasn't playing. We really didn't have a feel for this ball club, but we were able to figure them out in the second half.
Well, Scotty, Shaq dominated the game so much in the first half down in the low post. In the second half, you guys decided to double team him, but you didn't even have to double team him most of the time because you guys were able to extend your defense on the perimeter, and they had a tough time even getting the ball into their offense.
Well, they had them losing the first game, so they had the opportunity to make some adjustments, and it kind of affected us the first half. But the second half, we made some adjustments at halftime and gave it some different looks, and it was a different in the ball game.
Well, you just missed a triple-double tonight. 17 points, 10 rebounds, and 9 assists. And really a terrific job on Penny Hardaway tonight, Scotty.
Well, it was a lot better job than what I did on him on Sunday. You know, Penny's an explosive player, and I know he's tough for me to try to defend, but the thing I try to do is keep the ball out of his hand and not allow them not to be able to run their offense.
Of course, you've really just held serve now. You've got to go down to Orlando.
Yeah, we have. I mean, we got to go there and try to get a game. And the first game will be the best one. So when we go in their arena, we know it's a tough place to play. It's a tough place for us to win. But, you know, I think we got a lot of confidence against this team now.
Scotty, talking about Penny Hardaway, you know, you did a great job of denying him the ball, but it didn't seem like when you guys were playing that full court pressure defense, it didn't even seem like he was touching the ball. They were letting Dennis Scott, Nick Anderson, and Brian Shaw get him into their offense.
Well, I think it was the fact that, you know, I try to work him throughout the game, and he plays a heavy minutes as well as myself. And, you know, when that stage of the game come, I feel like that my defense has been a factor throughout the whole game and not just in the second half. So I felt like he was a little fatigued as well as myself.
Great game.
Scotty, congratulations to you and the rest of the Bulls. They come from 18 down in the third quarter, and they wind up winning it by 5, 93-88 the final, as Chicago goes up 2-0 in the series. And just one tiny bit of drama remaining. Dennis Rodman finds an unusual character to give the jersey to.
Another rung.
Back in Chicago, where the Bulls go up by 5 and take a 2-0 lead in the best-of-7 series. And out west, Seattle has a 2-0 lead over Utah, coming up Friday night at 8 o'clock, 8:30 Eastern Time. Game 3, the Sonics-Jazz series, 8 o'clock for the pregame show. Coming up next, it's Inside the NBA. Kenny Smith, Tim Hardaway join Ernie and Cheryl back in our Atlanta studios. For Danny Ainge and Craig Sager, I'm Vern Lundquist saying good night from the United Center.
Now, tonight from the United Center, and guess who was center stage for the visitors? Shaquille O'Neal. And he had a great first half. Shaq just going wild with two hands past Luke, then gets behind Longley again. Then Shaq with a spin move in the lay-in. Ho Grant, all he can do is cheer tonight up on his feet. Then Penny Hardaway, the sweet move into the basket. 52-38, Orlando in the lead. Phil Jackson should be angry. But in the third quarter, Chicago turns it around with a pressure defense. Jordan a steal to Pippen, back to Jordan. Mike outscored the Magic 17-16 in the third quarter alone. Then Jordan, the dish to Pippen for the lay-in. 69-65, Orlando. That lead is down to 4. Pippen to Ronnie Harper. Chicago has its first lead since the first half, 72-71. But Nick Anderson answers with the three-pointer. The kid from Chicago, putting Orlando up 77-76. Then Jordan, lefty laying that there, Dennis Rodman. He's been possessed in this series, ties it at 79. Shaq, but few and far between with the good Magic possessions down the stretch. Here's Scottie Pippen, sweet move. And that lay-in goes 88-81 Chicago, and hugs all around. 93-88, Chicago a winner. Second half scoring in this game, 55-35 Chicago. They lead 2-0 in the series now. Shaq had 36, but only 10 in the second half. And Penny, 18, 20 less than he had in game 1. Jordan, now see, don't be blaming me for what happened. I've never been to Philadelphia in my whole life. Back with more on Inside the NBA in just a moment. The Magic and the Bulls, we love these guys. More on the Eastern Conference Mega Series coming up. We'll hear from the participants and what they had to say in just a moment. Stay with us. We are 6 minutes away.
Say to you all in the locker room.
Well, I think he didn't want to get us too over-aggressive to come out and think we was going to get back in the game in 5 or 10 minutes. And, you know, I thought we felt like that we could get back into this game, but it was going to take some time. And he just wanted us to come out, play defense, be more aggressive, give them some different looks, especially on Shaquille down low.
Speaking of Shaq, 26 points in the first half. Third quarter, 4 points. What did you all do defensively to shut him down in that quarter?
Well, we started giving him different looks. We sent guys down the double, and we kept him guessing. I mean, we played this team. We beat them in game 1, and they came back with their adjustments. And at halftime, we were able to make our adjustments. So we gave them some different looks for us, double-teaming him and letting Dennis and as well as Luke play him head up. So, you know, our defense was more aggressive, more active. Second half was the difference.
Game 1, the only bright spot for Orlando was Penny Hardaway's 38 points. You took some heat for that because you were doing a lot of the defense. Second half of this game, you held him to 1 basket. Was that a goal of yours to specifically try and stop him?
Well, I tried to take the ball out of Penny's hand. You know, I think that their offense definitely have to run through him. He's a more aggressive player. He looks to make the play. And when I'm able to take the ball out of his hand, it really kind of bogs their offense down. And that's my goal, if he wants the ball, to make him work.
All right, it's not a 38-point win, but it still goes in the win column, doesn't it?
Yeah, this is definitely a big win for us.
All right, Bulls up 2-0. Dan, back to you in the studio.
Thank you, guys. Game 3 coming up Saturday in Orlando.
Eastern semis at the Garden. Now Michael Jordan and his buddies hit the road for just the 4th time in the playoffs. A trip to the O-Arena, where the Bulls were one of just 4 visiting teams to win this season. And if they follow Michael's lead, they will go in with confidence.
I think people have always known me to be more excited playing on the road in difficult situations. Sure, it's great to be at home, and the fans have really supported us, but I think, you know, we know in the playoffs you got to win on the road. That's when the things are all stacked against you. But we're going down to a place that a team hadn't really lost that many games there. You know, it's what, 76-6 down there. So we know it's a tough task, but I think that's the beauty of it all. And, you know, hopefully everyone has the same mentality that I have about trying to succeed on the road and succeed in general.
Patrick, I know you'd rather be preparing for Game 3 of an Eastern Conference Final Series than sitting here tonight. But what is it about that Chicago team, and do you see it in their eyes when you're up against them?
Oh, you know, definitely. You know,